I deserve 2 applause, bitches. Damn right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Xbox Nation, the best podcast on Wednesdays. And I was one of the originators of coming up with that whole thing. A lot of people use that, and that's fine. Just as long as it's not on a Wednesday, because you know they're lying unless it's Xbox Nation. Only I can claim that. So I'm just saying. What an asshole, right?
That was a great intro and a confusing one at the same time.
I was going to say, what are you talking about? What does everybody use?
He's talking about himself. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it is. Crapgamer uses third person.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, we all know you're crazy, so that's nothing new.
And I'm an asshole, so I got that going for me.
No, you're a big teddy bear.
Oh.
You just hear the intro. I'm a badass. I'm telling you, people. Damn it.
And then we hear you talking on community game night, talking to Butters. Oh, Butters, you're Butters.
Just
throw
you under the bus. I have no idea what she's talking about. I don't.
Really?
Yeah. I have no idea what she's talking about. But I want to get into things. We've got the Mooch here with all the Mooch maniacs. They're like, we want Mooch. They're like, he's got to make up for Sunday.
I do. And I was actually, I ran over old ladies and just like pushed people out of the way, like George Costanza in a Seinfeld episode, to get here because I was running late and I'm like, crap, I might be 5 minutes late. And he's like, not again. And
I was like, motherfucker.
You're like, damn it. So I'm like, all right, no problem. What's a red light? Who cares? I got a show to do. So we're here. We're live.
Exactly. And we got the governor here. We got GKB, who does back-to-back podcasts. He does Get Console Corner, and then he does this. Gracious enough to do this one. And he actually filled in on Sunday as well. Yes. Like, man, at a moment's notice, I was like, help.
Always glad to help out, brother. Always glad. I'm feeling very like zen and love and peace, harmony today. I don't know why. I just...
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it. That's all going to come to an end tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Yes, it's going to be an interesting day, especially with some of the stuff we're going to talk about. Obviously, Sony announced some stuff today, which is notorious. If you announce your numbers beforehand, you didn't win the MPD. But we're going to get into that later. We also have She-Wolf, First Lady of Xbox. What's up?
Yo. You know, I do back-to-back podcasts too, but of course, I always get ignored. So
no,
that's okay.
Actually, next week is gonna be crazy because I got Ladies Night, Console Corner, then Xbox Nation.
Did you ever get a hold of Luca on the second floor?
I just got her Twitter today, so Jay Williams just messaged me at like 2 hours ago, maybe an hour and a half ago. So I'll be messaging her to see what she's up to on Monday. So.
That's cool because she's she speaks really well as far as talking about games and stuff like that. So that'll be a cool dynamic. I was actually thinking that when she called in a couple weeks ago, and we weren't able to digest if she was part of the like 1.2% of the female demographic. So yeah, but she is in fact, and so I think she would make a great addition to Ladies Night, which is a really entertaining show, and you do a good job with that. So
I think Luca is actually a great call, and I think she would be a great addition to the Xbox community as a whole. So
yeah, exactly. And we have my brother, the one and only Hell Hammer.
That was great.
What's up? You're not gonna get a better intro than that, bro. How you doing?
Yeah. Pretty good.
Yeah. You doing good, bro? You playing some Forza?
I was playing some Forza. I forgot how good that game is, actually. It's really good.
Oh, that game's so good. And the DLC comes out in like a week or something.
That's how I was playing it to get back into it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to hop back in and get back into that as well. I want to hop into the topics because, man, I gave everybody this list. And it's
a pretty long list.
Oh, Jesus, it was long.
And usually my list has some filler stuff, but this has really no fillers. So it's like I'm going to try to hit on
action-packed, bro.
It is. It's full of action, folks. Dead Rising 4 released. Mooch, have you played it yet?
No. And I went out and got it on the day it came out, purchased it, came home last night. As you guys saw,
Snow Globe too.
I got the Snow Globe, and I hid it between my wife's 1,000 Snow Baby collection she has. I'm like trying to find Frank West. And no, but it's the reason I didn't get to it was just an issue I was having with my modem and everything last night. I went to go put everything in. I'm like, why is this downloading so slow? By the time I figured everything out, because I started watching a movie, got back to it, reset the modem, everything blistering fast after that. A little too late. It's 1 o'clock. Got that thing a lot of people don't know about called work, and just skipped it. But I will be as long as crap doesn't keep us here for 3.5 hours, I will be in the mall killing zombies probably around 11 o'clock.
Oh yeah.
Ish.
Well, I've heard nothing but good things about it.
It sounds
so far.
amazing, crap.
Yeah, it sounds like they've really nailed it. I haven't got a chance to play it yet either. But
am I the only
that's
one?
why I was going to you. Yeah, I was like, wait, you played it, GKB?
GKB.
I was just put, like, 2
GKB.
hours in before the show, man. I was like,
Nice.
Okay, well, tell me what you think.
Thank God Frank West is back in a fucking Dead Rising game. Like, I so miss this guy. I forgot like how good of a character he really is. Like, his just snarky comments and the way he handles the situation is just fantastic. The graphics are great. There's a shit ton of zombies on the screen. That's super fantastic. The co-op, I'm not digging it right now. There's a few issues and bugs and stuff that I'm just not digging. But overall, I think it's a really good game, man.
Okay, well, let me ask you, how's the frame rate and stuff? Because I remember in Dead Rising 3, the frame rate got pretty bad, like dipped down to like 15 and stuff at certain times. Have you noticed any kind of frame rate issues in this one, like in the past ones?
Nah, like going through, like they start you off like in this big area. It's kind of like a tutorial, and there's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of zombies, and you're going at it, and they give you all the special weapons to try out and stuff. So they're doing all kinds of effects and everything, and fire and all that kind of stuff. I didn't notice any dips or anything like that. I didn't really notice any screen tearing or anything either. So I was super happy about it.
Well, that's pretty good. It's running at a better resolution than Dead Rising 3 as well, which it's 900p on the Xbox One. So I guess that's pretty good. But I thought Dead Rising 3 looked good too. Like a lot of people were like, yeah, I thought it was a damn good looking.
I just want to say thank you to Dark Optimus for giving us a great Christmas gift. So
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Hey, Dark Optimus, give me a Christmas gift. Come on.
Yeah, Dark Optimus is somehow you missed the hashtag mooching I've been doing for 2 years.
Jeez, come on.
Maybe I should do it more often.
Yeah, quick, Hellhammer, get on my Patreon page, man. I gotta get some Christmas gifts going. Come on, man. Buy a shirt for Christ's sakes, man. Nobody even buys them things anymore. It's like I sell some. Like, hold on, I sold one, but it was a Mooch shirt. It was like, that's a you problem. That was like the last shirt I sold. So yeah, awesome. That's always great. So like, what's with the like take a selfie thing? Is that, I mean, that looks pretty cool. I like that I'm seeing that on my feed. Like people are taking selfies in like these weird situations.
Yeah, like I haven't gotten into the selfies yet. I literally just started playing before the show, about an hour and a half of it. So I really haven't gotten this. But I'm enjoying the story, man. And I don't really want to like talk too much about it in case you guys have.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Spoil anything. But it's really, really good. So
well, I have a question for GKB though. Big difference here, because crap, you brought up Dead Rising 3. Let's talk about it. So GKB, you played Dead Rising 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've all played that one. So is it a little bit more cartoony and less gritty than the other one? Not the story, but just the visuals.
Yeah, I would say the visuals are much more like cartoony. Not really cartoony in a way, but more stylized, I would say, than they were like the grittier part in 3.
Which looks better to your eye?
I'm a guy that kind of likes the the more true to realistic kind of stuff, but I think this game does a great job in what it's doing. Like, and it's like the mall and all that kind of stuff. It looks realistic. I'm not going to say it's not, but just like certain things, like with the characters and stuff, they're just, I'd say not as polished or stylized from 3.
Okay, that's kind of what I've taken since the minute they showed it. I just turned and I was like, I think I might have even said it when we saw it. Crap, did we see it at E3 when we did like our post show?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, it looks a little like I may have used the word step back, and the
more
fact
cartoonish.
That it was more cartoonish, and I wasn't using that term then, but it does look that way. But that's not a negative here because I think it works.
Yeah, it goes along with the whole like
it works.
Frank West kind of thing, and it just fits in really well. Like,
right,
I'm super enjoying this one. I actually I've only played a couple hours of it, but I'm enjoying it more than when I first started playing the third one. So there's that.
I like that it's themed around Christmas.
Yeah, good chime in, She-Wolf. You know what? I do like that too. I actually like the thing that they're doing with the whole like Christmas thing. I think that's pretty pretty awesome. I actually dig that. I'm looking forward to actually.
In the UI, like when you go into like the options and stuff, it actually plays like Christmas music and stuff like that too. So it's really well done.
Damn. That is pretty damn kick-ass.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to play the game. So,
Yeah.
I love that they show like right at the beginning, so it's not like it's actually ruining anything for anyone. It's like just a quick cutscene thing. But they show like Black Friday and like a whole bunch of people like standing in front of like stores and stuff, like what you expect, and then it like turns into like all zombies. It's like that would definitely happen. Everyone would definitely turn into zombies around Black Friday.
Isn't that what they are anyway? I mean, that could be a little bit of poking fun at the way people act around that particular day anyway.
No, they definitely are. They're definitely.
Yeah.
But it would be like if someone out there wants to infect people and start the zombie apocalypse, just wait for Black Friday. You'll have the most people in one area.
Exactly.
Trust me.
That's what they did in the Division, isn't it? Like when they were infecting people, it was like Black Friday. See, I remember that shit. Yeah. Crapgamer knows his gaming. Hey, we got over 300 already watching. Hit that like button. Let's get that thing cranked up early and often, folks. This is like a Jerry Lewis telethon, man. Let's roll it.
Then where's my free T-shirt, Crap?
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, well, exactly. Okay, so there's a couple things I want to talk a little bit about. I know that GKB and She-Wolf, you guys in particular, maybe not as strong opinionated as like me and Mooch.
They will be tonight.
But
I'll do my best, bro.
Thoughts on some of the Microsoft fans that are flipping out on the PSX event? I mean, honestly, it's been like clouding my feed, and I've stayed out of it for the most part. I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm like, Crap, don't tweet that. Crap, don't say that. Crap, don't. Crap, stay away. Put your phone down. Crap, don't.
Isn't there an app, Crap, that we can all get? It's like I think when you tweet, it holds your tweet for like 20 seconds or something like that.
I would love there to be that app because I am in desperate need of it.
Yeah.
I think it is that like you put in the mouth app because like seriously, like I see this stuff going on where Xbox fans are flipping out, and I'm like, for the most part,
flipping out about what though?
That's what the PSX event. Like I don't understand.
For some reason.
Nothing really happened at that event that you would really get excited about, but I don't know. Some people are excited.
Well, I thought they presented quite a few like decent looking games, and I know Mooch isn't big into indies, but I still like to like Hellblazer and stuff like that. I thought they looked amazing, and then
well, yeah, but it's not fair to use Hellblazer's like the king of the product they showed. How about you talk about an indie you don't even remember the name of, because that's the rest of them.
That's the rest of them.
Yeah, what was another indie?
I'm staying out of this conversation right now.
Why are you staying out of this? Wait, why are you staying out of this?
What's another indie that was shown that you couldn't wait to play?
I thought Pyre, Vane, and Next Machina was actually ones I would like to play.
I will be checking your gamer score, GKB.
I can't play them on the app.
They're PlayStation.
Oh, they're all PlayStation?
Wait, are they
that's even
exclusive?
better.
Are they?
I don't know if they're exclusive.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
I
They're
don't know.
probably exclusive or timed.
No, hold
I think
on.
Next Machina, though, is probably going to be an exclusive because it's like a developer that just makes stuff for Sony anyway. So
right.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, like Microsoft has that sometimes too. But as far as I'm concerned, like I'm seeing this, and I even did a video about it. I'm like, well, I don't understand it. Like, first of all, there was no release dates on anything that Sony showed off at E3. Nothing. There was no release dates except for like the remaster of what was that? That Marvel vs. Capcom 3 that I guess is available now.
Yeah,
on
PS4 released that day.
Yeah. And it comes out in March on Xbox. So outside of that, like the new stuff, there's not even the remasters, right? There's not a release date on any of that stuff as far as I've seen. But people are flipping out. Like I follow, like I'm on the
internet was like 2017, and then last month was like it's in early dev.
There's not even a date. Yeah, there's not even a date on that because we know that's years away. And the funny thing is, I'm on the Instagrams because I'm cool. So I was like. On Instagram and I follow this Xbox one. And they're like, guess I got to get me a PlayStation 4 now. And they showed a picture of like Ellie from The Last of Us 2 on there. And I commented, you got like 3 years, bro. Hold off on getting that. You know what I mean? Like Sony.
I don't think that one's going to be that far away though.
What? The Last of Us 2?
Oh, no. The, oh, never mind. I'm thinking of the new Uncharted one that they showed.
I think the Uncharted DLC is 2017, which cool. You know what I mean? I'm just hoping. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, look, that's the thing, right? Like, basically, we already know that the big game that everybody was excited for was The Last of Us 2, and we don't. That's so far out. We don't even know if that's even going to be a PS4 title, honestly. Well, I mean, it might be a cross gen by that point if it's 3 years.
I mentioned this.
Sorry, go ahead, bud.
Oh, I was just going to say, I mentioned this on Twitter. Somebody tweeted me earlier, probably a troll. I don't know. He's lucky he didn't get the Little Richard right away. But if anybody follows my Twitter, you know what's up, because Mooch, I shared that with you. I thought it was hilarious.
I love it.
But yeah. Anyway, so he's like, crap, what's wrong with Sony announcing stuff that's 3 years out? Marvel does that with their movies. And I so eloquently pointed out, hey, dildo, guess what? Marvel doesn't require you to buy a box to watch their movies. You know what I mean? Right. Sony does. Anything like Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft. I think all three of them need to cut out this 3, 4, 5 years down the road bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, we're buying these consoles. Something 3 years from now doesn't sell me on the console. I did that shit for Uncharted 4. That's the reason I got it, because they announced that at 2013, and it didn't come out till 2016, and they delayed it like multiple times. So I think that in a sense can be false advertising. Now, The Last of Us 2, while I'm sure the PS4 will get a version, I'm not at all convinced that by the time this thing actually releases that it won't be a launch title or something for the PS5. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, to me, that is basically trying to push your console on people. You know what I mean, based on these games, and I don't think that that's right. Especially so far out, and they don't even put years in there anymore.
Well, that's but that kind of goes back to the whole their marketing advertisements that they do on TV, where they show God of War and Spider-Man, and none of them have actual full release dates either. So it's not like this is really the first time that we've seen Sony do this. So,
I don't really understand why Xbox fans are freaking out or are losing their mind over PSX. PSX, yes, had a bunch of good games for Sony fans. They look good, whatever you want to say. But literally, there's nothing there to freak out on the Xbox side, or just be like, oh, that's it. Xbox done. I really don't get it, because at the end of the day, when you go back to E3. Phil essentially, relaunched the Xbox, talked about Scorpio, talked about the X1S, and it's been doing so well. It's been winning NPDs that I don't really care about, but some people do. Month after month after month, we've been getting new IPs. We've been getting, exclusive, whether you want to say it's on Xbox or PC, I don't really care. But they're still exclusives to the Xbox. They're just doing everything right, and they're just hitting on all cylinders. So just calm the shit down.
Not just that, but let's just stop. It's just first of all, it's a select group, and listen, they're the people that tell us to stop being fanboys.
But the problem is, it's a small group, but it gets the rest of the community fired up, and just
it does. And don't get me wrong. But see, here's the thing, though, GQB. See, when you're Mooch and Crap, you have to take your anger, and I have to side. I can't even speak my opinion anymore without the Pentagon getting informed.
Yeah. So that's definitely a them problem.
Yeah, so you can say that, but when I say it, I have to kind of beat around the bush, but use 50 different examples, and people go, by the time I'm done with my rant, they're like, maybe he's on to something. That Mooch is on to something. So what I'm trying to say is the vocal minority can do whatever they want. What I want to talk about is PSX and the whole hoopla is this. We just went through 3 years where PlayStation had no games, okay? They've had nothing. It's the third Christmas, okay? And I don't care who likes the games that are coming out next year. It doesn't matter. That's a them thing. I don't like the games. That's a me problem. I don't care for those games. The point I'm trying to make is, if I'm a consumer and I go out to the store this year and I'm like, I want to go buy some games for my console of choice. Right now, PlayStation 4 has nothing for me. I don't want The Last Guardian. Even the people, and some are in the chat, are like, Mooch, I'm playing Last Guardian. The visuals, the lighting, it's fantastic, but the game doesn't work. What? Okay, so you enjoy. Go ahead, listen, you can enjoy that. People like playing broken games. I mean, come on. I'm old enough to say that I played Cubert for fucking ever. That game was broken. Sometimes you were like, I got one square left, and Cubert fell through the fucking cube. So, I mean, I understand that sometimes, sometimes games are broken. It's okay. But don't tell me I'm missing out on a fantastically shiny, broken game. So that's first and foremost. Then there's last Christmas. I was having a talk with somebody online. I was like, hey, what was there last Christmas? It was crickets. Nobody. We had the. You know how it goes with Nathan, right? Hey, ho, ho, and it was just a fucking bunch of fucking. It was a bunch of nonsense. And I'm like, listen. Last year, Microsoft put out 3 stellar games. This year, we've got more than 3 stellar games. Microsoft always launches hard from August to December. If you don't know that, then you don't know gaming. That's just what they do. You know, it's like a Geico commercial. This is what you do. And if you want to say 15%, you call Geico. Okay? You buy games on Xbox the last 6 months of the year, and you save 15% with Geico. It's just the way it is. So if all of a sudden you're mesmerized by the fact that January 10th, there aren't a lot of games, well, I'm sorry. It's not anybody's particular fault. You apparently been in a fucking capsule for the past 10 years. So I don't know what to say. I can't counter that argument. Now, second, but wait, hold on, crap. I apologize. My other thing
no,
is
I'm
this.
not. I'm just up clearing my throat because I'm in the rant.
Listen, before I got into the YouTube world, before I got into Twitter, okay, this isn't at anybody. This is just me speaking my mind. Before I knew BGST even existed, I had conversations with some of my friends that were PlayStation. Majority happened to be Xbox. But when we did get together and we just had a conversation that was usually a lot more civil than what happens on Twitter, I might add. When we got into those conversations, I just preferred Xbox. The reason I prefer Xbox is I prefer their games. I mean, Sony next year can come out with Kawasaki Dragon 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, all before April 1st, and I don't give a shit. Like, I don't like playing that. Now, if you do like Kawasaki Dragon and Kung Fu Warriors 18, my recommendation is you should go buy a PS4 and hurry up.
In addition, but
you know,
but
go ahead.
I always say if you can swing both, then get both. You don't have to limit yourself. But at the same time, the reason why Sony is releasing these type of games all together like that is because there's no super sales expectations on them. You know what I mean? Like they would never release Horizon Zero Dawn and The Last of Us within a couple weeks of each other, but they have no problem announcing doing some of these games or whatever, remakes or remasters. And
well, I've always said that Sony is more of a spring sale company where Xbox is more of a fall sale company, because a lot of people that I've talked to about Sony and stuff, they all say that they have so many exclusives, but they're all Japanese style games. So a lot of them, I guess people here in America or, in Canada and stuff haven't actually heard of those titles because of the fact that, one, if you don't really play the PlayStation, then obviously you're not going to see them in our store and stuff like that. And usually most of them are overseas. So, of course, they see all the Japanese style games and everything because that's their culture. But a lot of people don't seem to want to notice that. They want to just point out saying that, oh, well, Sony has all of these amazing exclusives that are just strictly more Japanese style games. But where they at least, release the AAA titles are more focused in the springtime, where Xbox focuses more releasing theirs around Christmas, which in everyone's mind would be the smarter time to release because of the fact.
Could you repeat that last line again, She-Wolf? Because some people don't understand that. Could you say it again? Because it was correct.
It'd be smarter.
It's the smarter time to release. Why? Because business? Because of money? Because they have $465 billion and Sony has $8 billion? Does anybody see this, or am I crazy?
Well, to be fair, Sony has been getting away with just basically having nothing and people just buy it anyway. I think that's starting to change now. Anyway, but I think with the whole people flipping out over the PSX thing, calm the hell down. You know what I mean? Like, I've never seen, I always give Xbox fans credit because they don't do a lot of the weirdo stuff that the PlayStation fans do, but freaking out over an event and then just pushing the panic button, it's like, what is there to panic over? Like, that would be my main question. Like, what in the hell are you panicking over? There's absolutely nothing to panic over. Microsoft is the ones doing everything right. Sony is the ones that are trying to, to me, The Last of Us CGI trailer was a panic move on their part because they don't have anything like that, and they probably should have saved that for E3 because now at E3, what are they going to have to show off? It's going to be Death Stranding, Last of Us 2, God of War. It's going to be Last Days, the shit that they've already shown off because they've already got that stuff's already years away.
Well, the other thing is, crap, not
8 years out next time.
But people don't understand. They think that all those games you just mentioned are coming out bang, 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 bang. That's not the truth, okay? It was the same thing like when they showed Uncharted and Horizon and whatever, The Order. They showed all of us, God of War. They're like, oh my God, 2016 is going to be a fireworks show from Sony. And what did you get? Just Uncharted. And next year you're going to get Horizon and Detroit. And who gives a shit? Like, you don't understand. You're not getting anything big next. You're going to get Horizon next year. You're not going to listen, did you guys see the tweet that came out from Insomniac Games? It was comical. We're not going to be at the Game Awards. We're not going to be at PSX. We got some cool shit to show you guys in 2017. That translated is see your asses in 2018. Because they are not done. They're not ready. And if they release it early, it'll be another stupid game where you just swing from skyscraper to skyscraper and beat somebody up on a rooftop and then go skyscraper to skyscraper looking for a fucking collectible. So my point being is that Sony is doing something right now that we're not talking about. What PSX was they shot their whole fucking you-know-what all over the place.
Yeah. Other Zinc says, Mooch, no, they got No Man's Sky in 2016.
Yes, I went to Total Recall, Other Zinc, and I got that completely erased. Thanks for bringing it back. I got to pay to get it erased again. My point being is that like they are not going to wallop you guys. You're not going to get walloped. It's the same thing I told Zaire, and Zaire goes, "Yo, Mooch, you're right." Like, in all honesty, you go buy the Pro right now, plug it in the wall. What are you playing? What are you putting in there?
You can play games that play worse on the Pro version than they do on the standard PlayStation 4.
Yeah, you can
well,
play
that's
games
if you can even get it to
rate.
work in the first place. Because is it still having that issue where you have to like plug in like 30 different things just to get it to run on?
Imagine this: a PlayStation console has trouble with other TVs that aren't Sony TVs. I mean, like, I don't know. To me, that whole thing is kind of a debacle. Yeah, like the Pro is having a lot of issues. Maybe they'll get ironed out, but let's face it, the Pro didn't get games that were specifically had them tailored to the Pro. They're getting these hot patches and, you know, patches on the go and all this kind of stuff. And let's be honest, developers are probably not really too interested in putting patches in games that are years old already.
I like playing the game. I like my favorite game. I've been playing it for 2 years on BGST and other other shows. Is imagine if this was Microsoft. It's a fun little game, right? It's a really, really great game. Imagine if Microsoft made a console right now that was just a little bit stronger than its predecessor, right? And then Sony had a console coming out in 10 months that was a mammoth juggernaut of over 6 T-flops. Can you just, please, everybody in the audience, take a moment, sit down, pour yourself a drink, and just breathe in those headlines and those clickbait things you'd see from Sony, from the gaming media. Why buy an Xbox, they would call it, let's just say, the Xbox One Pro, when you can buy the Sony Scorpio? This thing's going to be a beast, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it would be unbelievable. You'd have Ryan McCaffrey and the IGN staff all wearing Sony shirts being like, bring me Scorpio, bring it on. You know, like unbelievable things. Imagine if Microsoft was now going into its third Christmas with only a game that had amazing light visuals and didn't work. Oh, okay. All right. So, no, Mooch, you're crazy.
You would hear the term X-Bone a lot more, that's for sure.
This is what I'm saying, everybody. So if you think it's just me and you're like, no, you're just a fanboy, flip the script and play it backwards, okay? Because when you play it backwards, it sounds like fucking mumbles from fucking Dick Tracy, okay? It's Big Boy did it. Big Boy did it. Big Boy did it. It's Sony's fucked up. You guys don't understand. Sony's broke. They're showing you everything. The reason PSX was a fireworks show was because when they revealed the Pro in New York City, like, it was dead. Nobody cared. Even IGN was like, we can't even make shit up fast enough. I don't know what to say. So this show was very important for them to save face. They showed you everything coming out until PS5 comes out. You've seen the whole package. There's nothing Sony's hiding from you, consumers. That's the good news. They opened their book. They were like, we've got to show them everything because Microsoft's going to kill us in 10 months. They're going to kill us. And listen, it kind of comes down to the NPD thing. Listen, I've said this a million times. Even if the Xbox One S comes a little short in tomorrow's numbers, a little short, even up to 400,000 less, because you're talking about millions of consoles sold during November.
Yeah,
it's still a victory for Microsoft. And you're probably going, how? How is a loss a victory? Because when you have 3 different pieces of hardware in the Slim, the Vanilla, and the Pro, going up, basically up against one SKU. Yes, it was one SKU that comes in many colors, but it was one SKU. It's the Xbox One S. When you're basically going 3 versus 1, it should be an absolute ass kicking. And guess what? Even if Sony wins, it's not an ass kicking. And you ever see you won the battle, but you lost the war? That's what tomorrow will be if Sony wins. If Microsoft wins, holy shit, you can start fucking popping that cooks at 11 a.m. because
I got my mayonnaise ready, bro.
You do mayonnaise.
You
do mayonnaise. I'm going to do a nice champagne, buddy.
I mean, this video's got, man, all my fat belly. It's going to be a good video, people. I'm telling you. You're going to love it.
It's important for people to understand that the reason that I do YouTube is not just because I prefer the Xbox, but somebody's got to come on at least a couple times a week because the media is hitting you every 15 seconds. Someone's got to come on and tell you guys, can you please just open your eyes? And let me tell you something. For all the people that don't like me, there's a lot of people that do. And there's a lot of people that write me. I know Crap gets it. I'm sure GKB She Wolf get it too. And Hellhammer, I'm only leaving you out because I know you have a different agenda. But like my point being is just that I know a lot of people say, Mooch, thanks for doing what you do. I really appreciate it because if it wasn't for you guys, all we would get all week long this week is just, Dead Rising 4 coming out on Tuesday. But let's not forget about the 10-year special baby patent that Sony has on The Last Guardian. And I'm like, what? What was that? How did you even come up with those 8 words before?
It's broken, but it's fucking fantastic.
Yes, I've never, ready? Even our buddy Ryan McCaffrey.
Broken game ever.
You see Ryan McCaffrey's tweet? Frame rate sucks. Yeah. I'm paraphrasing. Game rate sucks. Graphics are meh. This and that's not that good. This isn't working. Yet I'm awfully intrigued to keep playing. Who says that? Who says that? I mean, I never heard such a thing.
I mean, there's been games that have been broken where I've been intrigued to keep playing, but it's just because it was like a train wreck, Like I was like, how much worse can it get?
What if you walked up to somebody and they were wearing a pair of glasses, but there was no glass in them? You could put your fingers right through them and poke them in the eye, and you're like, hey, dude, there's no glass there. And you're like, yeah, I know, but they look really good on me. You're wearing glasses that don't fucking work, but you're still wearing them? This guy's playing a game that's broken. It doesn't work. People are saying in the IGN review, Marty Sleva, okay, I'm paraphrasing again, but it's the same words. He's like, when you're taking, what is his name? Trico or whatever. Whatever. Yeah. When you're taking Trico, you need him to platform sometimes a little lower or up above to jump to the next platform for the puzzle. And he's like, sometimes I stood there for 45 minutes and Trico wouldn't move.
That sounds fun, Mooch. I want to play that game.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait to come home all day. I told you guys, I just got home, right? I do this. I have things I have to do for the household, things like that. Then I'm going to sit down at 11 o'clock and fucking play with a fucking big dog that doesn't move out of the way so I can walk through the door. Get out of here. But I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued.
Hey, not only that, but here's the funny thing. That fucking game apparently has a terrible camera angle too, right? But hey,
I've heard people compare it to Sonic Adventure on Dreamcast.
Yeah, so terrible ass comic camera angles, shitty controls, clunky controls. But hey,
frame rate drops.
Frame rate's dropping into the teens. But hey, man, that's a 83 out of 100. Let's go. You know what I mean? Hey, 430 people watching. Hit that motherfucking like button. That's what I'm talking about. Let's keep this shit rolling. I want to talk a little bit about something else that's kind of been bugging me. I've been seeing this a lot, and this isn't shots at anyone in particular, but because I've been seeing this a lot. Xbox fans flipping their shit over JRPGs on the Xbox One, acting like it's Microsoft's or Phil Spencer's decision, when in fact it's not. Here's a fun little fact. Microsoft invested millions and millions of dollars to advertise in Japan to get Japanese developers to make games for the Xbox consoles. And guess what? Nobody bought them. Nobody bought them. Now, here's the thing. Japanese games don't sell well here at all to begin with. I mean, they sell poorly. They do. It's a different culture, just like American games.
Can I just add? I don't mean to cut you off, but I was reading Metacritic just while you guys were talking about Last Guardian. Someone gave it a 10, and this is what they wrote with it. Amazing story, vibe, and the whole experience. The best thing is if you like playing old games, you will love this one.
Yeah, there you go.
It a 10.
There you go. 10 out of 10, folks. I mean, that seems legit. Yeah, that seems 100% legit.
That sounds
right,
yeah.
Yeah, but getting back to my original rant. So the whole JRPG thing, right? Microsoft invested in it. We didn't buy any of the games. People in America don't really buy a lot of Japanese influenced games. There's a couple of exceptions, obviously, like Final Fantasy or whatever. But here's the difference. Developers, it's costing more and more money to make games. They're making them for the PlayStation because that's home team. That's just a fact. Not only that, but a Japanese developer can make them for PlayStation because why? Because they can sell them here, and even if they sell bad, they can back up and sell good in Japan. Xbox has no pulse in Japan whatsoever, so there's no backup. So there's absolutely no incentive for these developers to put anything on Xbox. Phil Spencer, and I've heard him say this, and I know a lot of other people have heard him say this, it's not up to him, it's up to the developers to have these games put on the Xbox. If the developers are saying it's not worth their time because nobody's going to buy them, then that's not Microsoft's fault. Why does Microsoft continually get blamed for this when it's not their fault? Just like Sony gets all the credit in the world for everything positive in gaming, people just give them credit. Oh, this happened.
Well, wait a minute.
But Crap, credit.
But Crap, can we talk about something else that's kind of like the 800-pound gorilla in the room? Is this people are like, how come you Americans don't buy more JRPGs? Why aren't there a lot of fucking Japanese people in Japan walking around with LeBron James fucking jerseys? I don't know. My point being is just because we have different cultures. We have different cultures. It's okay. If you like JRPGs, that's great. I honestly, to a certain extent, I respect them. To be honest with you, I grew up playing a lot of them. I mean, right? Whether you're a Nintendo or you're a Sega fan, there was a lot of JRPG influence on us in the 80s. That's just a fact. And guess what? I enjoyed it.
Because all the consoles were Japanese. You had Sega, you had Nintendo, and then later on you had the TurboGrafx 16, which was
NEC.
Which was also Japanese, and then later you had Sony, everything was Japanese.
And that's why everyone flipped their shit when they first saw Halo. People were like, "Oh my god, that's something completely different." Yeah, and that's the thing. So why am I being either crucified or yelled at or made fun of because I don't want to play JRPGs right now? I'm actually enjoying Final Fantasy 15 because they actually did make it a little bit more westernized. That's just, I like that fact. I don't want to come home and play a turn-based game. That's me. This is only me. I'm not speaking for anybody else. Whatever else anyone likes, enjoy yourself. Look at Hellhammer likes, and I'm picking on Hellhammer. He loves his PC. He loves his PC games. But the games he plays, I'll never be a part of those games. They just don't interest me. But that's okay. There's something I play that doesn't interest him.
Hellhammer likes to troll that he's a big PC guy. Come on, man.
I actually enjoy quite a few of them. But the problem is that here's the thing, right? Like the JRPGs and stuff, that's true. They don't sell over here. A lot of those games that are coming out on the PlayStation 4 that are those JRPGs. I mean, I was just looking through the list. I mean, a lot of those are games that are kind of even niche titles in the JRPG fans world. So, I mean, it's like, they're going to sell, 150,000 copies, 200,000 if that in America?
Yeah. Well,
it doesn't make any sense.
Well, look at this. And this was the room. This is somebody had posted this. I'm not sure that, hopefully they didn't get this from VG Charts, but that Gravity Rush remaster that came out on the PS4, there's something to saying that only sold 30,000 units in North America. 30,000. Just so you guys can put that in perspective. I have podcasts that have reached more people than that game in America. Just saying. Okay? I'm just saying. So what do we have here now? We have a bunch of games that aren't selling for shit. You know what I mean? Oh. And then you have a bunch of Xbox fans stirring shit up, like harassing Phil, nonstop.
Where are these Xbox fans when they were like, come on, go out and buy Rise of the Tomb Raider last year? They're like, this is why Xbox stinks. You call yourself an Xbox fan. This is the Xbox community making fun of itself, saying you need to go out and support these games. You need to get off your ass. All of a sudden, the same game goes to PlayStation 4. They sell 125,000 copies. Where's those Xbox guys that were yelling at us that bought it to say to the PS guys, come on, man. If you want games not to be exclusive to Xbox, you should go out and buy that game. Show them they didn't buy that. They didn't buy Titanfall 2. Vincent Pella. You see Vincent Pella fucking high-fiving Aaron Greenberg and fucking carrying him off stage.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's like,
Aaron, we're close now.
Bet your ass they're close now. It's another mysterious case of Vincent Pella didn't know where $25 million showed up. Tune in next year. Every single year. Well, we don't really need Microsoft. Psst, Microsoft, if you have that check, you can make it out that Zempella with a Z.
Make it out the cash.
Yes, make it out the cash or Zempella straight. Not Respawn. And, it's like all of a sudden now he's buddy-buddy with everybody and everybody was like, oh, he was great over there. He's really great. Of course he's great because Microsoft gave him the marketing deal. There's extra money in their pocket. I mean people are like, well, Mooch, that just goes to EA. listen, it's all trickled down. The money goes, it somehow, some way does help Titanfall one way or the other. So, I mean, like, you know, my point being is just that these guys that make fun of this is the problem. We've got people in the Xbox community that make fun of Xbox people. We got Sony people making fun of the Xbox people. We got PC people making fun of the Xbox people. Everybody's making fun of the Xbox people. Meanwhile, Sony's got no games for 3 Christmases in a row. They gave you a console that does nothing more than the one you already owned. They've got nothing coming out. They showed you what's coming out for the next 4 years. Each one's going to have 1 game release a year if you're lucky. And Sony's broke. And all they ever do is continue to lie. But yet the Xbox community, mainly Mooch and Crap, are the guiltiest sons of bitches ever to ever walk a gaming fucking podcast or to ever speak their mind. It blows my utter mind. I just don't understand why when we say these things. You know, you got people in the chat right now like, well, these fanboys think they got it all wrapped up. What's this guy, fucking John Wayne with a toothpick in his mouth? Who the fuck is this guy?
Wow, tell us how you really feel, Mooch.
Well, that's why I'm on here, She-Wolf.
Oh, exactly. Like, listen. I agree. Like this whole thing with the JRPGs, and then I was talking to, I don't know, a fan, but this person follows me on Twitter, and we were interacting on this, and they were like, well, wouldn't you back a plan to get more JRPGs on the Xbox One? And I said, here's the thing, right? Because those games don't interest me. I'm not against those games coming. I'm not against that. If games come, they come. I'm happy. More the better, right? At the same time, Microsoft to waste a bunch of money on this when that money could be better spent elsewhere. And also, I don't want, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to sit there and pretend. And I also said this. I said, I'm not going to go out there and do videos and promote it and be like, come on, Phil, and harass Phil and Microsoft and be like, get more JRPGs. But you know why? Because that's false hype. That's what Sony does. I'm not going to sit there and pretend I want these games when I'm not going to buy them. I'm not going to support these games. I'm not going to buy them. So why am I going to sit there and act like I would? I don't have a problem if they come. But I'm not going to sit there and hype that up and be like, yeah, come on, let's get these. Let's all sign a petition. That's the new age thing, right? Petitions. Woo! You know what I mean? Like, I'm
not going to drop $60 on a JRPG unless it's exceptional or fits, you know, something that I would like. Like Final Fantasy, pretty good game. The Final Fantasy games are quality, you know, back to back to back. But I mean, look, even the big one that people tout, like that Dino Cooney game and stuff, they haven't even sold that great. You know, it's like, what was it? Like the reports that I was reading, I was looking up here, it was like, what, like 1.4 million worldwide for that game? Come on.
Yeah, that's nothing. And especially when you consider that Japan is included in that.
Yeah.
And they probably bought the majority. And not only that, but that a second Nino Cooney game or whatever, that's a debut on PS4. That's probably coming to Xbox. You know what I mean? But if you just want to look at things, just look at Final Fantasy 15. Xbox only makes up for 20% of that sales mark. You know what I mean? Like that says a lot. Like the Xbox gamers, I'm not saying all of them. I'm not certainly not speaking for all of them, because obviously people like all sorts of different games. I'm just saying it's clear that the majority don't really care about those types of games, right? Would I be accurate in saying that without offending people? Because the majority, it's clear the majority don't really care for that type of game. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any of those other types of games, but I'm just saying the majority don't seem to really care. Like GKB, what's your thoughts on the Japanese market in this thing?
You're absolutely right, man. And look, I'm sure Phil wants like JRPGs in his repertoire of games that he gives to the Xbox gamers. I'm 100% sure he wants that. But like you said, the Japanese market and all that kind of stuff, you know, they're going to build it over there. They don't see a sense. And statistically speaking, from the Xbox guys, they have a plethora of analytics that say, you know, these are what our players are playing. This is what they like playing, and this, that, and the other. And they're going to make choices to go along with that to give us what we want. I mean, we've already seen like interviews with like Larry Herb and all that. And it's talking about like, you know, well, we can go after this game or we can go after this game. But if we do that, then we can't really make an Elite controller, or we can't do this and that and the other. So they're just making smart moves right now. They're giving us games and new IPs, and that's what I'm looking for. JRPGs. It's kind of one of those things like, you know, what's good for the masses ain't really good for like, you know, the small amount of people kind of thing. And they're just going to do what's better for everyone.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, what were the sales numbers for the JRPGs that came out in the 360? I know they weren't great.
No. But I mean, even if you look at like the remaster of the Gravity Rush game, it only sold like 30,000 here or whatever the numbers are, right? I doubt globally, you know, it's like 5 million. It's probably like well under 1 million. It probably didn't sell that well everywhere because it's just a niche title.
Even those Persona games, which everybody seems to hype up here, they don't sell well here. You know what I mean? Like they don't do well here. There's a handful of Japanese games that are relevant here. It's like the Final Fantasies, the Kingdom Hearts, that type of
Souls.
stuff.
That's not really JRPG though. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But I mean, it's Japanese theme. It is.
Oh, okay.
They're gonna put the money in the big AAA like JRPGs, like the Final Fantasies and stuff like that. That's where the money's gonna go.
Yeah, and like She-Wolf, do you have any thoughts on like this Japanese aspects? Are you like into the JRPGs, or I mean, what are your thoughts?
It's kind of one of those mixed feelings kind of things because I love games like, for instance, Kingdom Hearts and the new Final Fantasy really intrigues me and stuff like that. But a lot of the other style Japanese games, I don't know if it's just because of, you know, the subtitles and all that stuff that I just can't get into it. But I don't know. I find sometimes they just push a little too many of those out and expect them to just all sell the exact same. And usually most of them have some sort of like the same story base where they're like, you know, there's like either the lead male or lead female, they run through, have to beat somebody, and then that's kind of, you know what I mean? Like they all kind of have the same feel to it.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, when it comes to JRPGs, I like certain ones, but I don't like a lot of them.
Well, Peter Young in the chat, he says, why do people only talk about Japanese games? What about games from European countries and other countries? Here's Peter, really good question, by the way. And he's right. Why is it we're focusing on this one particular genre, that one genre? How about this? Why isn't anybody in the on the PlayStation side, why isn't anybody on the PlayStation side be like, where's my shooters?
Yeah.
How come I don't have any shooters? I'm in the United States and I bought this PS4. You promised me like Killzone was going to be the next Gears. Where's my shooters? Can I get a shooter?
No, Killzone was going to be the next Halo. The Order was going to be the next Gears. Get it right.
If I'm still that guy,
I'd hear them complain though because
that's my point. They don't
kind of have Call of Duty. They assume like that's like pretty much all PlayStation for some reason.
If that's cool, if Call of Duty is PlayStation, then Dark Souls and Final Fantasy is Xbox. Who gives a shit? Like, then this is the Peter's question's just as good. The point's moot. It's not a big deal. Why are we focusing only on JRPGs? When did JRPGs become like the shit? Like they were the shit in 1987. Like it's not that big of a deal right now.
Chrono Trigger and all those were coming out.
And if you don't believe me, you're like, Moot, you're full of shit. Go look at the sales. That's what Sony fans love to do, right? Sales. Go look at all the sales of Kamasuki Dragon and Brutal Force 87 that came out and all this other shit. One Piece. How did One Piece do? Great? Nope. How did Attack on Titans do? Great? No. Nobody cares. I just don't. Like, so when the proof's in the pudding, people. Don't listen to me. I'm just telling you to go look at your sales like you love to look at. So I don't understand, why is this such a big deal? You know, if you want to be an Xbox guy and complain about JRPGs, then where's my guy on the Sony side being like, where's my shooters? Where's my
RTS?
Where's my first-person shooters?
Where's my RTS at, man?
I bought a PlayStation. I was promised shooters. Where's my shooters at? You know, like, I don't understand. And as annoying as that sounds to you guys, that's what we hear every day for the past 3 years. Is, can we get some JRPGs? Can we get some? No, you can't. You can't go into McDonald's and ask for a fucking Whopper. Walk across the street.
Can I get a Whopper?
Can I get a Whopper in this joint or what? No.
I mean,
no Whopper.
The basic thing is that everybody knows the type of games that come out on Xbox. We already know that, you know, as far as JRPGs go, there's not a lot. There wasn't I mean, there was quite a few on 360. They didn't sell very well, or they were poorly rated, you know, to begin with. And then now, you know, 6 years later, people are like, oh my God, this game was so great. But the critical acclaim on them was awful. Like Lost Odyssey had terrible scores, even though that was a pretty good game. I mean, that's just the problem, right? Like if you go into buying a console and you know what you're getting, you know, pretty much from the start. So if you're
but people always complain. Fan, but the thing about people though is they complain when people want things they don't have, and then they complain about it.
That's human nature.
But then when they get it, they don't care for it. It's not gaming. It's everything.
Right.
Oh yeah, exactly. But again, just going back though, I mean, if you do what you were getting into when you were buying it, there were probably going to be very few. See, that's how we already know, especially if you bought it a year or so after the Xbox One released, and you've seen that it basically in Japan it sells nothing, then you knew they were going to come.
You know, there's probably a lot.
Bought a PlayStation.
There's
at that
probably
point.
a lot of. There's a lot of
JRPGs.
casuals that bought PlayStation 4 for COD and the marketing rights and all that nonsense. And I bet you there's a lot of casuals that don't have a vocal opinion in the YouTube world or in the Twitter world. And they're probably like, I thought I was going to get this shooter, and there's no shooters on this thing. You got Igzy81 here in the chat, which I believe he's a fan of ours, so I'm not going to go hard on him. But he's like, no, I want JRPGs. And he goes, and I'm an Xbox fan. Yeah, Igzy81, there's a console for you. It's called the PlayStation 4. Go buy one. They're $249, and you can play. My game's coming out next year, Kamasuki Dragon 17. You're going to love it, and I'll sign a copy for you. Like, my point being is, like, it's just insane to me. Why is it the PlayStation people aren't asking for shooters? Because I don't get it.
Okay, hold on. You can't really see, like, there are. You also have to look at multiplats too. Like, a lot of Sony and Xbox fans kind of rely a lot on multiplats, and Sony does have shooters. You know, they have Overwatch, Battleborn.
No, those are multiplats. Those aren't shooters. That's not theirs.
But they're happy with that.
Huh? What?
They're obviously happy with that.
But you're not. That's not apples for apples. These people are complaining we don't have exclusive JRPGs. Okay, multiplats are a wash to me. I don't care if you get to play a map pack 30 days before I do. I don't need to give a shit about that. Like, who cares? That's a wash. People are bitching and complaining that we don't have JRPGs over here, but there's no shooters exclusively on fucking PlayStation either. There's no shooters.
Killzone.
They have Killzone.
It came out in 2013 and it's terrible.
Where's your first-person shooters? There's that, and then there was what's the other one Insomniac made before they stopped making it?
Resistance, but they haven't made one because nobody bought it.
So that's my point. So it's like it's all fair in love and war.
Isn't I thought there was a new first-person shooter that came out recently.
Now you got a fan in the chat there, She-Wolf. Antonio Alicia says, go She-Wolf, tell him. Tell him what? That multiplats are on both consoles? Thanks, Antonio. The fuck? This guy. No, I mean, I don't understand why we have to be fair, though. If we're going to do what we're doing and we're going to we have to be completely, like, split the line down the middle. Sony fans have to start to complain about why they aren't getting their shooters when they were promised a Call of Duty box. Right? And I don't understand that. I would be just as upset if I bought that and I was a casual gamer. The same way that some people are casual gamers and they're on Xbox and they're like, where's my JRPGs? Fine. That's apples for apples. I'm totally on board with that argument. It's a great discussion. But you don't get any complaints over there. When Sony has given them no games at all for the past 3 Christmases, Sony fans didn't say a peep. Not a peep. They just sat there and enjoyed their sales. They sat around the Christmas tree with eggnog and fucking Yuletide fucking charm, and they fucking sang the sales song for fucking 4 months.
How does that song go?
I don't know what it is. But it's like, I don't know. It's fucking, it's just crazy to me. I don't understand. Like, why is it that why is it Xbox fans get mad? It's not fair to Phil to say, hey, Phil, you're not trying. He is trying. He wants to diversify his portfolio. And to be honest with you, I'm enjoying some of the Japanese style games. I'm really enjoying Dark Souls. I'm enjoying Final Fantasy. But I've never had Xbox. I mean, yeah, some people with 360 were like, what were some of the 360 games that people like? Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon, which they just brought back on compat. But I mean, did those do really well in sales? I don't think so.
Actually, they failed, and Microsoft paid a lot of money for them. Yeah, a lot of money.
I think the biggest ones that sold a lot were the Call of Duties that went back compat. I think they were probably the biggest sellers.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like as far as the JRPGs on the 360, it was a big thing because remember they were exclusive to Sony. Then Microsoft paid a shit ton of money to get them on Xbox 360, and that was like a huge whoa moment at E3. I don't know how many of you guys.
Well, do you think the Elder Scrolls game is selling a lot for backwards compat?
Probably.
Elder Scrolls, yeah, I would assume that
people really love the Elder Scrolls game. So Oblivion probably sold quite a few.
Yeah, and then of course, that's what I said. You know what? Look, Blue Dragon was a game that came out shortly after launch on the 360. There's probably a whole group of people that have an Xbox One that never played it. So you get to play probably one of the better JRPGs on backwards compat. Same thing with Lost Odyssey. You know what I mean? That game came out in 2008. And I mean, that game only got a 78 Metacritic. You know what I mean? I don't know why. And while I liked it, like a lot of people, I don't know why a lot of people just act like it's like the masterpiece or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I get why people like it, but again, it's like these games aren't really setting the world on fire. And a lot of people are like, if anybody watched BGST last Sunday, you know, there was a little bit of headbutting going on. And, you know, I hate to kind of say that, you know, shout out to my boys, Next Gen 720, but I did kind of body him in our little debate there, you know, because a lot of people are saying this. We need more than Gears, Halo, and Forza. And so you list off all this other stuff, and they're like, but we need new IP. And I'm like, well, Rise, Titanfall, Sunset Overdrive, Quantum Break, Sea of Thieves, Scalebound, or In the Blind Forest. Like, we're getting the new IP. It's not really, again, if you're an Xbox fan and you like these new IP, buy the fucking new IP. About not getting new IP and actually buy them, because I think people are just saying, you guys are turning into the PS3 fanboys. They were like, day one, I'm going to buy Little Big Planet karting day one, and then that game sells 20,000 copies. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah, I still remember going into GameStop on launch night. What was it? One of the Halo games launched that night. What was it, 4?
I think it was, I think Halo 4 launched, right, in 2012. Me and Hellhammer went into the GameStop midnight launch, and so there's this PlayStation fanboy that works there, right? And so I go up there, and he's like, everybody here for Halo? And we were all like, yeah. And then I was like, no, man, I'm here for Little Big Planet karting. He's like, really? And I was like, nah. Like, he just got this look in his face like, oh, my God. He's like, well, I'm getting it. And I was like, cool. You know what I mean? Like, who the hell is going to get Little Big Planet karting when Halo 4 just came out? You know what I mean? Like, come on, get the hell out of here.
I mean, listen, you know, just so this isn't just one-sided, I try to explain to people, and anyone who's listened to BGST or any of the shows I'm on, I say this all the time too. I have my concerns about 2017 for Microsoft. That does not mean Scorpio. Scorpio, I have no concerns, but I do have concerns as far as Sea of Thieves goes and Scalebound, because someone was like, what do you think about that, Mooch? I mean, my thing is this. I was a little bit more chest out and like sure of 2016, especially when you have a lineup like Forza Horizon 3 and Gears coming out. You know, you've got like solid structural, like you're good. Then you can build upon it. Like somebody was like, well, Recore sucked, and so did Quantum Break. First of all, Quantum Break did not suck at all. Like, not even a little.
People just didn't like a lot of people just didn't like the genre, but that doesn't mean that a game sucks because someone doesn't like that style of game.
That's fine. You say you didn't like it. That's one thing. That game didn't suck. Now, people say Recore sucked. I think Recore needs what it's going to get, and I don't mean HDR. It's going to get the artwork and the design that everybody wants.
I think people that are saying that Quantum Break sucked and Recore sucked are probably people that didn't even play it, to be honest with you.
They didn't, GKB, but I'm trying to humor them and pretend they did. But you're right. You're 110% right. But I mean, like, my whole point is with Scalebound, the jury's still out. And as far as Sea of Thieves goes, for me, this is me, not the panel. I think the jury's still out as well. So, you know, I mean, I'm not sitting here saying 2017 is an easy wash. The only thing Microsoft has over, I think, its competitor in Sony is they have more AAA games coming out. Be like, well, Mooch, you don't have release dates. Nobody, listen, not having a release date in 2016 is as good as having a release date that gets pushed back 3 times. So, you know what? I got a good feeling. I think everybody has a really good feeling. Microsoft's mentioned 2017 era is when all these games are coming out. So those games are going to come out. Now, the question is I just prefer having a system that has more AAAs lined up than the double A's that we saw out of PSX. PSX is no more than indies, and it's basically this. It's indies, it's a lot of double A's, and then it's usually 1 or 2, you know, games that are going to be triple A's, but they're just CGI. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's all it is, and it's no more, no less. It's not a big deal. So when people are like, I want Microsoft to have an event like that. Why? Like, why would I don't want that. I don't want to see Cuphead on a fucking 24-minute reel.
I agree. Like, I've been saying that too. I'm like, okay, so Sony had an event. You like that event. I get it. Right? Like, I think probably a couple things a year would be great. But at the same time, I don't want Microsoft to show shit that's like, you know, like, okay, we're going to take you into the production room, and here's the storyboard of the game that we're planning for 2020. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit about that. Yeah. Like, that whole stuff with Death Stranding and all that, or that Shenmue stuff. Look, you're not hearing anything about Shenmue now, right? Like, when was the last time we heard anything about that game, right? Like, and we said it all along. That game's 2018, 2019, maybe further. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's 2018. 2018, 2019, and it's going to play worse and look worse than fucking The Last Guardian. So get ready, folks.
That's kind of relates a lot to how people are saying like Xbox needs a single show just like what PlayStation has, and I actually don't agree with that because all the games that we saw for Sony, we're gonna see again at E3.
Yeah.
And it's like that's what E3 was supposed to be. It was supposed to be where they come out and show you like the games that are releasing that year, and then a couple that will be releasing later. Not doing all these individual shows so that you see the exact same games over and over and over again, but maybe a different small clip of the game in a different area.
It's not even really true either, because look at how many times they went and did Fan Fest and Mexico and other places and stuff.
Right.
And showed people.
But those weren't those weren't to everybody though, and those were more or less just showing like they were just putting the games that we
they're
already know
games
of
that in your hands to fucking play with. That's the point. Like, that's the good part of that whole thing. Yeah, they're not getting to everyone, but they're actually moving it around to different people that probably never been to E3 or even over here in the States and seeing like the great games of fucking Xbox and also being able to play them.
They went to Brazil, they went to Mexico, they went to Australia. Those are like really good places. And if you notice, those are places where Xbox really picked up. You know what I mean? Like those people, I don't want to make them sound like they're some third world countries or something, but though they're not used to the gaming industry paying attention to them. Mm-hmm. I can remember Brazil in particular, which I know we have a large Brazil fan base. Like I get the analytics, like the Brazil people love Crapgamer. But that's what I was
getting at, though, is instead of doing a show like what PlayStation did, they should be focusing more on, single events that are more showing demos that people can actually touch and see and play, and not focus on just, an hour or two of just a game reel.
Here's a question. Like, if they do like a show like once a year, like a PSX or something like that, then I feel like they're going to have to like show big things there or anything like that, because it is Microsoft. So if they don't show anything big and spectacular, they're going to be like, oh, what a shit show, even though it was a solid show anyway. So, and then you get into the point of, when are they going to have it? And is it going to water down E3? Or are we not going to have as much there and this, that, and the other? No, like just do the Fan Fest stuff, go around, show people the great things that you guys are doing, have your E3 and all that kind of stuff. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Microsoft. You know what the problem is, GKB, is Microsoft is damned if they do, damned if they don't. I'll explain a little bit more. I'll elaborate. Last year in 2015, Microsoft goes, we're going to have two equally big shows, E3 and Gamescom, and they're not going to be the same game showed off. And their E3 killed it. It was great. And then they did Gamescom, and that was great. Completely different games. We got that look at Scalebound and all that stuff and Crack. We were like, wow. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But a lot of Xbox fans didn't like the Gamescom thing. They were disappointed. Like, oh, I'm disappointed. We knew what was coming. Like, it's hard to look. I do BGST. Like, go back and listen. I'm the only motherfucker that's happy during these things. I'm like, wow, that was amazing. And everybody else is like down in the dumps. You know what I mean? That's how I got Mooch in the podcasting on BGST, because that one year, what was it, 2014, everybody's like depressed, and then Mooch is on Twitter like, what are they depressed about? And I'm like, Mooch, get in here. We're doing a reaction video. You know what I mean? Like, come on. They're doing way better. They're showing games. Microsoft is showing games. They're actually showing things that are being played now. Yes, they've done the trailer thing where they give you the false hope or whatever, like years away. I hate that. They're stopping that. Everything we saw at E3, guess what? 4 of those games already released this year, along with their Slim console. You know what I mean? The other ones are coming out early next year, and then sometime next year.
And they also brought the design lab for your controller.
Yeah, exactly. The design lab. I mean, they've been putting stuff out. If you look at this, and there's a percentage in here, right? The amount of stuff that Sony actually put out from their E3 was like 9% or something like that from the previous year, right? 9%. Think about that. That's the lowest of the big 3. 9%. How the hell do you get away with putting out 9% of what you show at the E3 the previous year? And you know what? Even a year and a half later, it's only up to 11%. What's that tell you? 14% of people know that. Come on. You know what I mean? Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. And Hellhammer's probably the only one that got that joke. But, yeah, like, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. But I know a lot of people want to hear us talk about what Sony came out and said today, which is they announced 50 million PS4 sales the day before the NPD releases. Microsoft did this conveniently the same thing last year before the NPD releases. And in fact, the previous 5 years, the losing company, NPD, and announced what I like to call like a PR bullshit statement. Sony's bullshit statement basically is just that. They did the same thing that Microsoft did last year, and I posted this. You saw it, Mooch. Last year, on November 4th, Microsoft did a big statement saying, we've seen growth. We've seen this, and we're all like, what the hell does that mean? Well, what that meant was they lost the NPD, but they didn't want to like look totally bad, right? So here's Sony Interactive's what they said. They announced today that they have cumulatively sold through more than 50 million units to consumers worldwide as of December 6, 2016, have enjoyed the best ever Black Friday week in the history of PlayStation. This includes the sales of the PlayStation 4 Pro, a high-end system that supports cutting-edge imaging technology. With a vast array of exciting software titles from third-party developers and publishers, as well as Sony International Worldwide Studios, PS4 software sales also remain strong, with more than 369.6 million copies sold in retail stores globally and through digital downloads on PlayStation Store as of December 4th, 2016. We are truly delighted that the PlayStation 4 community continues to flourish since launch 3 years ago. Let's see. With tremendous support from our fans and partners across the globe, this year we were able to deliver an unprecedented lineup of hardware such as the new slimmer PS4, PS4 Pro, and PlayStation VR. We will continue to provide the best gaming experience available through our groundbreaking software lineup and network services as we focus on accelerating our business and expanding the PS4 ecosystem. Now, to my point, does that not sound like PR bullshit coming off a loss?
Groundbreaking networking services. That's the only thing I want to put out there.
The thing about it that's funny about what you just read, though, Crap, is that, okay, Sony is a lot like the Crap Gamer, okay? When Crap's right, Crap doesn't just, he's not just going to have the largest jar of mayonnaise tomorrow. He's going to be screaming it from the fucking mountaintops, louder than Ron Burgundy after he slept with the other news anchor. My point being is that you have to understand, Sony loves to tout its whistle, right? And blow its whistle, let everybody know what's going on. That, what Crap just read, was like a speech you give to concede almost. And that's why we were having this conversation on Twitter. Does it mean Sony can't win? Absolutely not. But why would you give this elaborate, very kind, very soft-spoken speech when we all know the NPD is going to be awarded, or deemed who the winner is tomorrow at 6 o'clock at night Eastern time, roughly. So that's why we've said, so the past just, history repeats itself. Microsoft did it last year. It's what they do when you're about to lose the NPD. Plus, if Sony won the NPD, even if you go, no, Mooch, they're going to release a statement before. Fine, I'm with you. Fine. They're going to release a statement before, the day before. It's going to be badass, though. It's going to be like, we're Sony. We knew we would come out. We knew you wanted the Pro. We knew you wanted more. We gave you more. 50 million consoles. This is what we're here to do. We're Sony. Have we mentioned we're Sony? That's S-O-N-Y. Why? Because we're Sony. And listen, that's what they would do. They wouldn't be like, well, as you can nicely see that we came out and we gave you guys some nice, interesting games, and we've got an online service that you guys might want to check out someday. And I'm doing my best Andrew House voice without my helium. And
did they release the sales for the VR?
No. Everything's on track.
It's on track, though. Right? Yeah, Bam's got that.
On track to not hit that 2.5 million.
But I mean, like, so even if you're a Sony fan and you're like, no, Crap's not right, Mooch isn't right, fine. But wouldn't you agree, if you're a Sony fan, that when Sony does something, they do it with, like, vengeance, and, like, they're sure of themselves. They're like,
listen. Mooch, everybody. If Sony had won, like, people are like, well, Sony still probably won. Listen to what they said. Microsoft said much the same thing. We saw incredible growth, high sale, blah, blah, blah. Our game software sales are high. They said that last year on the Xbox Wire. I tweeted it out earlier. Same basic premise. This is the thing. Why would Sony do that today? Oh, why would they do that today? Because they want today to celebrate. They want their fanboys to go crazy. That 50 million looks good, right? It does. They're like, 50 million, holy cow. And then tomorrow is going to come, everything's going to come down to earth, because what happens tomorrow? The world changes tomorrow, because Microsoft and the Xbox One S would have won 5 straight NPDs. Yeah. They would have beaten the PS4 with the Slim release. They would have beaten the PS4 with the VR release. And damn sure they beat the PS4 with the Pro fucking release. And that means that Sony could possibly be in trouble. And so Sony wants to look good. And so they're putting this out there, right? Yeah. If Sony had won the NPD, they would have waited till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Not only did we secure the NPD, we had the best Black Friday in the history.
Right.
We hit 50 million, because that sounds much better to me coming on an NPD win.
Yeah,
right?
Why would you release that soft-spoken thing today, except for the 50 million sold? Which, again, when has Sony ever run the sales when Microsoft has something coming up? And they do it all the time. And like Crap said, that's a great speech to give after you're like, we won NPD. We've got 50 million consoles out there. We had the best Black Friday in PS4 history. Like, you got to understand the way a speech is going to be written and when it's going to be released. Like, timing is everything in life, people. Timing is everything in life. You could get a job over somebody else more qualified than you, because if a boss walks in and he drops something, you pick it up and you're like, here you go. Like, that's one good deed. And you know what? I'll take you. You're hired. Like, you never know. Timing is everything in life. So the fact that Sony 12 to 24 hours before the big announcement puts out this kind of really, except for the first line with the 50 million, is really just a really wussy kind of like response out. Why
it's
would
like
they?
What the fuck spot?
Yeah,
I can
why?
remember last year. Remember, Mooch? We were doing podcasts, and we're
Yeah.
like, "What the hell is Microsoft even saying?"
Yeah, what are they saying?
Right?
It sounded very wishy-washy last year.
Yeah.
Listen, Microsoft did this too last year, people. Okay, this isn't just Xbox fanboys. Microsoft's speech, or excuse me, their rhetoric, whatever they put out, was very, very weird. It was wishy-washy. The stuff that they were praising, they were the best
We
at.
saw
Nobody
growth.
cared.
Yeah. You know, it was like all this ridiculous stuff. We're releasing this, and Games with Gold continues to see growth, and it was like this ridiculous stuff, just like what Sony's saying. And we were like, what's this mean? Well, you know what it meant was that they lost the NPD, but you still don't. You want your fans to feel like they won something. You know what I mean? Because Microsoft tends to win November NPDs, and they didn't last year. So
Right.
they were the ones who released this like PR bullshit statement a couple days before the NPD. Now Sony happens to do it the day before. Highly curious. And even what's his name? Who is like Rand Althor, who was like super cautious with stuff, DM me, and he's like, yeah, looks like Microsoft won because the loser always posts his PR nonsense right before NPD. So, I mean, take it for what it's worth. If you guys don't believe me, if you're one of those Xbox fans that's fair weather or doesn't have faith in that, well, then that's fine. But for people like me and Mooch and us, we've been saying it all along that Microsoft would run the goddamn table this year, and I'm sticking by that. And you can lock that shit in. You know what I mean? And if
industry crap does you the reason Rand may have mentioned it to you, and the reason you mentioned it earlier today, and the reason we're bringing it up tonight is in the gaming industry, trends really are predictable. Like there's been very few where you're like, oh my god, I didn't see that coming. Like we said it to everybody, No Man's Sky is terrible. Fuck you, Mooch. You're full of shit, Mooch. I'm gonna go buy it. What happened? 1 million people bought it, and 999,999 returned it a week later. Like, things are just trend. When you see a game having its issues or problems, you can see problems coming down the pipeline. The issue here is the last year, we saw Microsoft do the same speech the day before.
Yeah.
It's too much of a coincidence. I tweeted it out before I even spoke to Crap. I'm like, when I saw that, I was like, does that mean that Sony's conceding and saying, hey, you know, we had a really good year, but, you know, here to Microsoft? Like, that's what I read. I read that because Sony is so what's the word I'm looking for? Like, they're so sure of themselves. They're so, like, dominant when they take control. This just seemed like that's not. Yes.
Yeah, they are.
They're so egotistical that like when they're going to be number one, they're definitely going to let you know they're number one. And this was like didn't come off that way.
I know. Damn near 500 watching. Hit that like button. Also, I want to do a little poll in the chat, which we'll see this in a minute.
Oh.
Type in 1 if you think Xbox is going to win NBD tomorrow. Type in 2 if you think PS4. None of that wishy-washy shit. 1 for Xbox, 2 for PlayStation. Let's roll it. Let's see what people do because I'm thinking definitely going to be a 1. And I think a lot of you guys are going to agree with that. Let's see that wave of 1. Let's see those likes roll in 2. I better not see no 2s or you're dead to me.
There they are.
We got some 1s coming in. That's what I like.
We got a 3 in there. There was a 3.
A 3? No, there's no wishy-washy nonsense. It's 1
3
or 2. That's it.
7.
They put a 3 because
Exactly.
1 plus 1 plus 1.
Oh, see, you can tell who the PlayStation fans are because they're putting 2. PlayStation ain't got no chance. Like, GKB, what are your thoughts? Because I know you're not a big NPD guy, but you have to agree, like, at least as a level-headed guy, that my logic is pretty on point.
Yeah, I think your logic's on point, and I've said in the last 2 weeks on this podcast that I thought Microsoft is going to win this NPD. Honestly, just from the momentum and everything that they've been doing, I think they're going to pull it out for sure.
Yeah. What about you, She-Wolf? Like, I know you probably don't really give a crap either, but
sales is like She-Wolf with hardware with me, man. I'm just like, I'm gonna fall asleep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even sales. I got up and grabbed something to eat while you guys were talking because I just didn't want I went and grabbed some marshmallows because I just didn't
Brilliant. Thanks, She-Wolf. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
Well, let me just say, She-Wolf. Let me ask you.
I
real
do
quick.
want to see the mayo stuff though.
Yeah, the mayo. Like, that's
okay,
what I
I'm
know
a little.
Fox
I'm a
does
little
too.
curious about these big brushes that Fox has for you.
Yeah, for real.
I don't know if that was the great way of wording that. Fox,
She's into
that
it
you
now.
have-
She's got like brushes and stuff.
Yeah, she's got big brushes.
Yeah.
Get it right.
Gonna get all in them
know-
cracks.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I get like a swimming pool in my belly button of mayo. It's gonna be fun.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna have Mooch sitting at a table with his feet up on it, drinking his wine.
Oh, dude, like people, will not want to be around me when this happens tomorrow because I called it.
I can't wait for the fireworks, bro.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be entertaining. I can promise you that. Hell, I might even throw a podcast up last minute just to fucking celebrate. You know what I mean? Like it could be that crazy because, in my opinion, if Sony loses, like I 100% am sure they are, lock that in. That means again that they've released 3 pieces of hardware that couldn't compete with the Xbox One S.
Technically 4.
And
I mean,
that's-
the
that's-
PSVR in there too.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I was counting the VR. Yeah, VR, Slim, and Pro.
Because people that already got like a PS4, not necessarily they're gonna go get like a Pro or a Slim or anything. They might actually be looking at the PSVR, which would hurt like the console sales. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. That was my thoughts
True enough.
completely. And I think that it's gonna be an interesting situation because a lot of people are like being cautious with this stuff. And I don't know, man. I don't live my life like that. Hey, let's all be cautious over this stuff. Whatever. You know what I mean? Like as far as I'm concerned, Microsoft has been doing the right thing. Microsoft were the ones that thought ahead to improve their Slim. Sony were the ones like pulling everything they could out of there to make it cheaper and you know what I mean, and less effective. Hey, let's pull out the optical port. Let's not put a 4K Blu-ray player. We don't need real HDR. Let's just throw in some fake shit that idiots believe in. You know what I mean? Like some Instagram filter. Like that stuff's completely just that's so Sony. Like that's so Cleveland. That's so Sony. You know what I mean? Like that's what Sony does. And to me, at the end of the day, I don't even believe they're 50 million. To be honest with you.
No.
Because if you look at the thing, it's like estimates by Sony or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's they're estimating their own stuff.
Somebody wrote to me on Twitter. They're like, Mooch. They're like, really? They're like, you're going with shipped? Come on, it's sold through. I said, how about this? I said, I'll believe it's sold through when a independent third party company definitely shares the 50 million number, not Sony claims. Like, you ever walk into any restaurant and you're like, hey, dude, you just opened up like a month ago. And the owner's like, yep. He's fucking rubbing his stomach. He's like, sure did. Fucking my dream come true right here. How you doing? Great. Fucking tables are fucking packed. Meanwhile, you're looking around. There's like one family member at the bar. You're like, what the fuck? You're like, well, when's the rush start up? You're like, well, it's only fucking Thursday at 6:30. It really picks up around Friday. And you're like, what? Like, Sony telling me they got 50 million in sales? Like, that's not like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure they're roundabout, but you can't, of course they're going to take it from 100% Italian guy, okay? All Italians ever say is like, Italians always like, yep, things are good. They're great. Everything's fantastic. Go ask an Italian fucking anything. Guy who does a masonry or anything. How's business? Fantastic. Fantastic. Just bought a boat. I just bought a boat.
How's that pasta?
I don't know about my pasta, but I love boats. I bought one. Like that's what it's like. They love their shit. Like it's the same thing. The Japanese are proud, right? Like it's so crazy, and people are running around like Sony just said 50 million, Mooch. Like go slap some cold water in your face or a fucking wet fucking goldfish across your cheek. Like I'm like, what do you mean, dude? I'm like, it's of course they're gonna say they did well. I don't understand how people are so gullible. Never follow a herd, people, because a herd usually walks right into a pit of fire. It's called a lemming.
Yeah,
wake up.
that's true. Or they walk off a ledge or something like that.
Yeah,
But
go play the game.
Yeah. But yeah, I 100% agree. I think that it's like, first of all, I don't ever trust Sony. Second of all, they put a lot of asterisks in this thing, right? Like this, that, and the other thing, And third of all, my logic is flawless. It's undeniable.
Look at this guy, Chad Main 23 goes, "You're right, Mooch. I think they're around 55 to 60 million. Somebody buy this guy a fucking dunce cap. I'll pay for it." I swear to God, it's amazing. Like, people are so gullible, and they call us corporate slaves. These are the ones that are like, "Wait, Sony said 50? Can't be 75. I won't go less than 75." It's like a bad auctioneer.
Hey, these are the same. You know what I saw today? I saw somebody tweet out, or a retweet or something. 50 million PS4s against 14 million Xbones, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
How does that number keep going down?
It keeps going down.
I mean, look. 14 million, just giving them too much credit. Let's see. It's probably more like 6.5. Come on.
Yeah, come on. Like, seriously. Like, is that seriously still a thing? Honestly, like 14 million. Honestly, like, come on.
Listen,
you know
consumers, it's Christmas time. Go buy a PlayStation 4, because every time you buy an Xbox One, an angel loses its wings. So please go buy a PlayStation 4. Don't kill an angel. You know, because every time an Xbox, for some reason, the number keeps going down. Anybody who ever quotes you, this is something you can take to heart. Anyone that quotes you Xbox One sales are lower than 20 million, you can delete them from your life. Not just Twitter, your entire life. They're so full of shit. They have no idea. Like, I mean, come on. They keep going down. Every time someone buys one, you take a number away. This is why we're having a hard time with mathematics in the United States.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that it's been absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, also, you know what? I wanted to talk a little bit about something. And I did a video about this shit, too. And maybe you guys, I know GKB, you thought it was a pretty good video. The Last Guardian finally released after like 10 years or something. It got pretty, actually, surprisingly, it got really good review scores, right? Like, here's the thing. If you were to cut out the review scores and you read some of these reviews, right, you would probably think that the game would get a bad review, right?
Absolutely.
That's what you would think, right? Because it'd be like it has clunky controls, that Trico doesn't listen, you know what I mean? And next thing you know, fucking, it's got a 9. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. And I'm reading this, and it's like bad frame rate. It dips down into like 9 or 10 frames per second. The controls are bad. The camera angle's horrendous. But damn, I'm intrigued. 9.5.
Yeah.
Seriously, right? This happened.
Read the review. Game's broken. Character who I need to jump from point A to point B doesn't show up for a half an hour. It's like waiting for a cab. That's what the show should be called, the game. Waiting for hail a cab. Fucking the last guy, like, you have to wait for this animal to go from left to right. Marty Sleva did it in his review. He's like, I have to wait. He goes, sometimes. I don't know why. I've watched enough shows with Marty on it where he talks kind of as loud as I am right now. And then when he does his reviews, he's like, for some reason, the animal wouldn't come over to me. I had to wait for 45 minutes. And I'm like, why are you muffled, for God's sakes, and talking like you're like, I don't know. He sounds like Kermit the Frog. But anyways, but yeah, so he's like, I had to wait for Trico or whatever the thing's called to come over. And he's like, it just wouldn't work or wouldn't function. Even people that are enjoying it on Twitter are like, well, I'm enjoying it, but I can't seem to get from point A to point B because the thing won't come over. And I'm like, I don't understand why Recore got such shitty, reviews because of this, because of load times. Yeah, load times. But the game is the mechanics in Recore are fucking spot on, which is what a game is. Meanwhile, a game that's mechanics are broken, people are like, I'm intrigued, and then they fucking pull up a fucking corn pie pipe and they're smoking it. Like,
the only negative I ever heard of Recore was just the load times. That was literally the only thing I've ever heard people bitch or complain about, right? But I mean, look, on consoles alone, like even the game that I love, like Witcher 3, the load times on that are horrendous on console. I mean, quit complaining. It loads like once.
What's the sound that kid makes in The Last Guardian?
Oi! 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 Oi!
Right? Oi! There's somebody here was really funny. They're like, oh, that's right. Luis Peralta says, because Recore is an average game with an average story. This is a game where a kid goes, oi! Oi! And his fucking dog misses him when he jumps off a cliff.
Not only that, but look, that's
how fucking exciting is that?
Here's the thing. That's debatable to begin with, because I thought the Recore story was really good, and there's actual voice acting and things like that. It's just there's not even any talking in The Last Guardian. So, and either one. So let's just say they both have decent stories, right? And there's long load times on Recore. The Last Guardian has bad camera, bad frames per second, clunky controls, a fucking in-game component that doesn't listen, which can stall your game. Yes. So let's give it a 9.5. Are you serious? Are you serious? Like, to me, that is absolutely asinine, and that is what the main thing that's wrong with this industry. Like, and you can sit there and go, well, and I've seen that a lot. Well, one's just a bad game or whatever. No, ReCore isn't a bad game, first of all. Second of all, this shows the difference and why Sony gets the biased treatment that they get. The Last Guardian, I'm surprised that it got these good of scores, especially since, like I said, every single fucking review treated it like it was bad. Bad controls, bad camera. This is bad, that's bad, 9.5.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't get that.
How does a game be in like development hell for like 10 years or whatever the hell it is and come out with, and every gamer you talk to, like, gameplay is king. How is the gameplay so fundamentally broken, regardless of how good or how intrigued you are about Trico or whatever the hell his name is?
Trico or
Trico. Like, how can you, just sit here and say it's a 9, it's a 10? Like, you're reviewing video games. It's all about the interaction. It's all about the gameplay. If that's inherently broken.
But wasn't it like Gears of War Ultimate that got like low score because you pressed A too many times?
Yeah, well, it got knocked off. It got knocked points off for that. That was the only negative on the review.
But this is the reason why, like, YouTubers and other influencers and stuff out there are taking their freaking jobs, because they have no fucking integrity and they don't give a shit about video games. They only give a shit about their paycheck and what fucking Sony or whoever the fuck else is paying them to get these fucking reviews done. That's it.
Yeah, that's simple. GKB just really summed that up perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't really say that any better.
Mm-hmm.
You would almost think they're being paid on like the number of score that they give. So if it's like a 7, oh well, here's a $700 paycheck. Well, no, I want a bit higher, so we'll go with a 10. So I get $1,000. Yeah.
Can I get him a 12? Can I do a 12?
Well, you know what's funny is, right? So I go to N4G because sometimes I'll go there to, like I said, get stories or whatever, and to check out reactions, right? And so there's this one review for The Last Guardian. It's a 6 out of 10. You go and look at the comments. They're like, well, obvious. Clickbait is obvious. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. It's just clickbait. But you go and look at his review score, and it's like, it's a 6 out of 10, which isn't terrible, first of all. And you look at his reasoning, and it was bad camera angle. Trico doesn't respond, clunky controls, and last gen looks, right? Those are valid points.
Yep.
Those are valid points that every other reviewer mentioned, but he actually gave it a score that coincided with those bad points, right? Where everybody else was just like, who cares, right? I mean, honestly.
Yeah. They're minor. They can probably fix that in the future.
But you'll see IGN and GameSpot, all these fucking retards come out and being like, we have a stringent fucking review process, blah, 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 blah. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And then come out and say the game's fucking broken. But you know what? I really like that tree core. Fuck it. It's a 10.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you thinking?
I mean, at this point, it's basically, it seems like a lot of these games now, especially with this, it's just a lot of people voting because they feel bad because the game took so long to release or whatever the case may be, right? But and people got hyped up for it for all these years. I mean, look, how often did we hear, even a year ago or 2 years ago, The Last Guardian from people? Every time you mention anything negative about Sony, people would be like, The Last Guardian. So now all of a sudden it comes out that has all these issues, and everybody just looks the other way on it. I mean, it's just awful.
Well, they only have one more game left that they can feint to at E3 next year. They only have Shenmue 3 now that they can feint to, right? Like, everything's been done. Like The Last Guardian, people were fainting, fucking lighting matches, fucking pushing people in the aisles. It was like a mosh pit at the fucking Sony E3 event. Now that's done. So now I'm wondering what's left. There's Shenmue 3 and what else? What are we missing, Crap? What's the next? What's the hype? Where's the hype meter at?
Death Stranding.
You think that's a light a match and fucking punch the neighbor next to you?
Oh, dude, I even saw Xbox guys. I never even saw, like, I guess they're Xbox guys. I come to question that. Yeah. They're just like, oh, amazing. And I'm like, what the hell?
What was amazing about it?
That? Yes. That was give credit where it's not due. Like,
don't give Sony credit till you see the game. All you saw was a CGI.
And it's some weird-ass CGI. Hey, let's just get Microsoft to completely come out with some weird shit. Bunch of weird shit happening on the screen in CG. And then see how many people are like, wow, that's amazing. You know what I mean? Like, come on, get out of here. That's the shit that pisses me off.
Microsoft showed an insane CGI clip that was crazy back in 2013 about Quantum Break, and people were like, fuck that stupid fucking movie. Who makes movies and TV on a video game system? Then you have this here, which looked nothing different than if you ever seen like, what is that, Robot Chicken? When that's on and you watch like the commercials that are on Cartoon Network, like late at night, there's some crazy shit on that channel, by the way, like whacked out shit in the commercials. That's what that looked like, just something that was whacked out, but it was in 1080p, or excuse me, Jeff Keighley, 4K. my apologies. I don't want to, offend
I'm
the
still
great
curious
Jeff
where
Keighley.
all of the all they keep showing are all these guys that have like these weird cords that come off from them. I'm still curious where all these cords are attached to.
Yoshida.
Yoshida.
So I hope I helped you with that one.
Zing.
Like, what? I just don't understand. Why is there like they seem to be showing like umbilical cords or whatever that are like they attach to these babies. Where's all the females then? Did we just get like erased and now all the guys are having the kid?
Well, you did see like the bromance on stage and everything, right?
Yeah, I mean Jeff Keighley. I think it's like, well, what you have is you have a Jeff Keighley and you have a Kojima, and then they fall in love, and then you get little
have a game. Yeah.
To be fair, we are talking about a Kojima game here. So.
Yes, She-Wolf. Have you ever played a Kojima game? They're weird as hell.
They're really weird.
Yeah, they are weird.
They're very weird.
Well,
Like,
I recommend you quit your job and try some peyote and pop a game in.
I think they should have went back to like a form of PT. Like I really do. I think he should have just like.
Well, he doesn't own the.
He doesn't own the rights. To
no,
that. Yeah.
but it could have been. So it didn't have to be
GT.
that exact.
See, this is the difference. If Mooch was running Xbox right now, Mooch would have a deal with Konami for PT right now. You have no idea. Only for one reason. Even if it fucking sucked, like you know what the logo would be? PT, and it would be the fucking photo print of my middle finger. That's what I did. You don't understand. Like, honestly, I love Phil's direction and his dedication to gaming is bar none. It's bar none. He's gonna actually bring Xbox to the promised land. But I do like somebody who's an executive also. They're just like cutthroat crazy. Like, that's just fun to watch. Like, as a consumer, to sit there and be like, because look, like we said earlier on in many episodes ages ago, everyone's got their favorite. Everyone's got their favorite no matter what it is.
Are we talking Steve Ballmer crazy? Or...
Well, you know what? Yeah, Steve Ballmer crazy. Actually, because Steve Ballmer was the shit. Like, a lot of even people that work for Microsoft now like Steve Ballmer. You know what I mean? Like, everybody likes Steve.
I think the dude's hilarious.
So he was definitely great. You know what I mean? But I mean, look, it is what it is. But like, just because Kojima went and signed, my point is this. Mine's simple. I'm not saying like this big, catastrophe. No. I'm just making it very simple. Kojima went and signed with Sony. Konami hates Kojima. Hold on. Come on, guys. Anybody who did any calculus can figure it out. What did he do? Oh, Xbox deal with Konami. Yeah. Why not? It's beautiful.
I agree. Remember the rumors of Microsoft buying some franchises and shit? Like, I think that would be like a good screw you. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I was never I never understood the Kojima love anyway. The guy's done 2.5 good games in like what 30 years.
Oh,
like,
shit.
I'm sorry.
Here's the shitstorm on Twitter for you tomorrow, dude.
Why? Because he did 2.5 good games in 30 years. That's my opinion.
Oh yeah, don't matter. If you don't think Kojima is absolutely the greatest developer, game creator, designer of all time, then clearly you're not a gamer.
Hellhammer, you need to tie Crap to a chair tonight and make him watch Jeff Keighley's 8 or 9 hours in a row.
I couldn't.
No. Look, I like Metal Gear, right? I do. I don't understand it.
I guess where I'm at on the whole Kojima thing, I've been pretty quiet on the Kojima thing. My whole thing with Kojima himself personally, I guess I'm going to go ahead and give him the respect that he does deserve. He's been in the industry a long time. So the man knows how to make games.
Damn, I'm out on a limb by myself with the overrated shit.
Listen, does Mooch not? I have to finish here. What I was going to say is I'll give him credit, but I will also say that I personally don't play or really ever cared for his games. Like, there's a lot of people like that. Like, listen, look, I'm 100% Italian. I love giving Scorsese a lot of credit, but there's a lot of Scorsese movies that I honestly didn't give a shit for at all. Like, at all. I can't even tell you. Like, I wouldn't even watch them again. But people are like, did you just say that about Scorsese? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, we're gonna strike you from your Italian heritage. I'm like,
yeah,
what?
You lost your Italian card.
No, it's because I back up Francis Ford Coppola, so I'm all set. I have an indefinite life existence card.
Yeah.
But my point being is that it's the same thing with Kojima. I don't like his games, but I respect his work. I mean, he definitely has put in his games are of a good quality, but what the fuck they're talking about?
Yeah.
Nobody, even Greg Miller, who loves Metal Gear, all of them pretty much except for like one. He's like, I still don't know what the fuck's going on. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
Super soldiers or something. I don't know.
It is what it is. But I mean, like, by the way, Casino was great. Casino was fucking great, by the way. Casino's a great.
We at one point had somebody try to explain the Metal Gear storyline to us.
Yeah, actually, Hellhammer used to do this to me, right? There's this dude in our clan, and Hellhammer would be like, yo, Crapgamer wants you to explain all the story elements of Metal Gear. So we'd be sitting there gaming or whatever, and he'd be like, okay, Crapgamer, so then this, and then the DARPA chief, and then this, and I was sitting there for like 3 hours, like, shut the fuck up. I don't care. Like, I don't care. It's the games are weird. I get it. Like, you don't have to, like, rub it in. I get it. They're weird. I'm just saying, look, that game that nobody knows what it's about coming in 2020 has no relevancy on Xbox. The Last of Us 2 coming in 2019, 2020 has no relevance on Xbox or Xbox done or let's all trash them. You know what I mean? Because those games are coming years from now. Because guess what? We're getting great games close as well. We're getting games years from now. We're getting games next year. We're getting games all the time. You know what I mean? We're getting some of my most anticipated franchises that are coming up. We're getting Sea of Thieves. That's probably...
I'm excited.
I'm not ashamed to admit it. Yeah. My most anticipated title is Sea of Thieves. I like multiplayer shit. I like pirates. I admit it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking forward to that. I want to play.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too.
50 million people signed up for the beta or whatever. So, or 50,000 or whatever. Yeah, 50,000.
I'm excited for that in Scalebound, but I think right now, like, Crackdown 3 is like really intriguing with me with the cloud and just the destructible environments and how that's going to play out in multiplayer. I think
that's going to be awesome too.
Yeah, all that stuff's like really intriguing to me.
I mean, there's a lot of good games coming out next year, regardless of what anybody wants to say or think. I mean, we have a lot of games to look forward to. So
absolutely,
yeah. Well, here's the thing, right? Yeah, like with Crackdown 3, right? That's something that we're getting that hasn't really been done before on that level, right? If you're by Scorpio, you're going to get 4K. It's going to have 100% destructible environments in the multiplayer. It's using cloud compute for that. When stuff gets destroyed in the multiplayer, it stays destroyed. It doesn't disappear. It stays destroyed. If you like demolish a building, it stays demolished. Like 100% destruction. That's never been done before. Right. That's what Microsoft is doing. And if this thing, and I wouldn't be surprised. I know you guys were talking about it on a console corner last night. If we get a beta announced at E3 next year that start that night,
I think we will.
Right. But they're not going to say, hey, it's for sale or whatever. I know Mike was on your show, and he's like, that'd be great if they did that. And I'm thinking, no fucking way they do that.
That's not going to happen. But that's why I kind of came back and was like, well, they probably do like a beta and stuff. And that's fair, too, because I think they want to test the systems before launch and fix anything they want to. So I have a strong feeling that's probably going to happen.
Exactly. So we could get, the beta, and then the game could launch with Scorpio later. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Perfect. Like, I can see us all going with our Scorpio under one arm and a copy of Crackdown in the other. Or I know you guys are digital, like mostly me too. But yeah,
I don't know about you guys, I could not to change the subject completely. But speaking of Scorpio, I'm really hoping. I hope Microsoft locks in that Destiny fucking marketing deal, because you take Crackdown, you take the games you're talking about, the power that's there, and then you take something where you have such a community so big like that, where they know they have exclusive content. That's a very big thing. The one thing that Microsoft needs is, because crap, you said this yourself, the Xbox One S is the baby, right? That's their flagship. You're probably going, what do you mean, Mooch? That's not their flagship. The flagship's their most powerful. No, the Xbox One S is going to be $250 or $199 in 12 months. Yes. My point being is that's where the casuals are going. So Scorpio, how do you get people in the Scorpio? You need I hate to say, you need something like a Destiny. You need something massive. I really think Microsoft is putting some money out there.
Not just marketing rights though, Mooch. They need like DLC.
Well, that's what Sony got this time, right, GKB?
Yeah, but I mean, we've seen like when games come back and forth, like Microsoft doesn't really get the same kind of deals that Sony's been getting lately. Well, so I'm worried about that.
I think you will when you see Phil's new purse, fucking that Natia Sadell. But dude, he's got some big time money.
If they do get Destiny and they get that DLC deal and all that kind of stuff, like if it's a year or whatever the case may, even if it's like 6 months or whatever like that, that player base, you know, from the Sony side is gonna move over because they want to stream it and show.
Well, two things, right? They want to move over because that's where the content is. Number two, how fucking beautiful is Destiny 2 gonna look on Scorpio?
Yeah.
Like you have the sky's the limit. And with Sony, the limit's the sky.
Hey, I loaded up Destiny 1 on my 4K just to see how good it looks. So I can imagine what it's going to look like in native 4K. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is like, I'm just not on board with the 4K thing. Not in the sense that the Scorpio can't do 4K, but what is 4K going to look like? Like, because there's a big difference between PC 4K when money's not an object and you can run everything like fucking super max settings.
Yeah.
So I just have questions.
GKB, I'm with you, by the way. I'm with you 110%. And there was a poll on Twitter the other day and I answered it just like this. And I think you're going to totally be on my team with this. I could give a shit also about 4K. I give more shit about when I say Destiny 2 is going to look amazing on Scorpio. I'm talking 60 motherfucking frames. That's what I'm talking about. If you want to give me 1080p 60, guess what? I am just as excited as 4K 60. I mean it. I'm not bullshitting you. Will I take 4K 60? Sure. You want to throw air conditioned seats in my car for free? Sure. I don't need air conditioned seats, but I'll take them. But I'm not. But what I want is heated seats. I'm in New York, and you know what I mean. So that's my 1080p 60 is my heated seats. I want heated seats, but I don't need air conditioned seats. My point being is that's the key to Scorpio. The key to Scorpio and the key to success for Scorpio is that third party and first party understand that 60 frames per second is number one, and everything the fuck else is number two.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, it's just like that whole console thing. Like when we went from 360 to here, like we still seen games like built for, and I can't wait for that transition part where I think it's going to happen anyway. Is like games are just not going to be built for the original Xbox One. They're just going to be starting to make, you know, they're going to be at some point being like, you know what, we really can't feasibly make this on the old one. Let's just do it on the Scorpio. And really, what the power can deliver on those type of games is really what I'm excited.
And here's the thing: where Scorpio has the advantage over the Pro is the Pro has the problem that they just didn't enhance the CPU. That's a big problem.
That's a huge bottleneck. I mean, really.
And that does not change the player base at all. If in Destiny 2 it's 60 frames, it's 60 frames, and that's just the way it is on Scorpio. I don't give a shit. That's a you problem. You play in 30 frames, I'm playing in 60. I don't care. However you have to do it, you do it. That's not my job. That's their job. All I'm going to do is give you my $60 over and over again if you can give me 60 frames.
Well,
there you go. How about that crap? There's a slogan. $60 for 60 frames.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I don't know if they'll do that. With
ESPN might not like it, but I just trademarked 60 for 60.
Sorry. Hey, we're about 6 off of 300 likes already, so 6 people at least hit that like button. Let's get up over that hump.
Crapping those goddamn.
Thanks for everybody rocking out with us too, man. Been almost like 500, like most of them.
Yeah, I mean, like it's been incredible. A lot of people want me to talk about this Rise 2 screenshot.
Bullshit.
I'm gonna call it bullshit too.
Yeah, I'm gonna call that bullshit.
Hey, I will say this: someone tweeted me a link from Crytek's blog where they basically hinted at the development of this game, though, and then they pulled it.
Yeah.
Then
what does that mean, though? Does that mean like something that they're porting over to the Nintendo Switch? Is that like a mobile game? Like, I don't think it's like a Rise 2 or anything like that.
It could be. I mean, what has Crytek done over the last few years? I mean, outside of Rise, they've done absolutely nothing. They've had to been working on something.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't doubt. Like, look, if you Rise, whether you liked it or not, it was a graphical showpiece for the Xbox One. Imagine a Rise 2 being a graphical showpiece on the Xbox Scorpio. I think that they've had ample time to work on it because they've done nothing. Like Crytek has done literally nothing. I think a VR game, right? They took minimal staff. right? So they've had years. So basically, it'll be 4 years to do something. And we know that that game probably, at least for a launch title, is probably over 1 million units sold. I mean, you could probably say that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And wouldn't that be like, everybody's like, man, I really want to see a sequel to Rise. Like, I think people would really flock to this game because a lot of games don't take off on the first iteration, right? Look at Uncharted 1. That game is pretty bad compared to the others, right? Sonic 1, not nearly as good as Sonic 2. You know, Halo 2, I guess that's better. Yeah, much better because it had multiplayer. You know, much better than Halo 1. I'm going to go ahead and say that. You know, well, I guess Gears 1 was really good. Gears 2 did improve a lot of areas. But, you know, usually sometimes it takes a couple games to get to where they're trying to be. You know what I mean? The original vision. Look at Titanfall 2, right? Like, I know you guys, some of you don't like it, whatever. But the first one was really great multiplayer.
That's not fair. Crap. Come on.
Yeah, and then they add like the single player and stuff. So it's like their vision is completed with the second one. You know, same thing with like Star Wars Battlefront. That game, good multiplayer, but I guess next year when Battlefront 2 comes out, it's going to have a single player and it's going to be more towards their vision.
Same thing happened with movies. I mean, Back to the Future 2 just made Back to the Future 1 that much better after the fact. Even Godfather 2. Godfather 1 was huge. Godfather 2 was massive. Okay, so what I'm saying is that, and what Crap's saying, same thing goes for Sunset Overdrive too. A good sequel can make the entire fucking collection that much better. So you know, and don't forget, you're always testing the waters with the first one, right? Sunset Overdrive was trying the whole remember boots on the ground? This was no feet on the ground. They wanted you to not be on the ground at all. Maybe they'll change things. Maybe Rise, like I've always said, I would like to see Marcus in Rise be more of a Simon Belmont. I want him more of a Castlevania type character. I think they need to bring some fucking science fiction into it with a little bit of, not science fiction, maybe just fiction. Maybe, you know, the point of like some sort of like Walking Dead that are trying to, almost like an Army of Darkness type of theme into it. I know that's drastic. Maybe, you know, don't jump into it that way. Make it like the story shows that. Just so it's not just, I mean, I love the Roman era, but I mean, it needs a little more, I think it needs a little bit more than that, but that's a me thing. But nonetheless, the second one can make it so much more rich. So yeah, I think one of them, I think with this big push too, Crap, I think you're going to see Rise, Sunset Overdrive. One of those is going to get a sequel. I think more Sunset because Ted Price wants to fucking work. That man loves to work.
Sunset might have a higher upside, but why not both? I think that, you know, like, again, a lot of people.
What was the internal struggle between Crytek and Microsoft? I mean, I think they have to figure out that situation.
Yeah,
and, you know, Microsoft had to throw money at them pretty much to get that solved.
Yeah. Well, look, here's the thing. Like, Crytek, I guess, was a little bit pissy. Like, it was their IP. Microsoft wanted to own the IP because they were investing all the money, et cetera, et cetera. Crytek is hurting for money. They sold off the rights to Homefront 2. You know what I mean? They closed down studios. They're in a lot of trouble. So Microsoft could have probably went back. In fact, Microsoft almost bought Crytek years ago, but they were like, we didn't need another sci-fi shooter, and that was what they were known for. What the hell is that damn shooter? Crisis.
Crisis is the only game that they were known for.
Yeah, that's like they would have had their own version of Guerrilla Games, a studio that puts out really good graphical games, but shit story narratives. Although I did like the Rise narrative, but the graphics in Crisis are good, but the story is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I
so I think that, look, you could probably get that first song. People want it. Crytek isn't doing much. I'm going to lean towards 50-50. I mean, there's a possibility that could happen. You know what I mean? And I also...
What is the possibility of, you know, maybe they're porting this into a VR kind of thing? Because there's also been some news, like, of some other confirmations of, like, games being VR on Scorpio next year. I forgot what the game was, but
I don't know. I mean, maybe that'll be VR compatible. Yeah. I don't think that. Hopefully, they don't just go the VR route. Like for me, like unlike the Sony fans, it'll be like, yeah, I love VR. Just give me a Uncharted game in VR, and I'll be happy. I don't want my main games in VR and none of that nonsense. You know what I mean? Just give me the main game, the sequel that it deserves. One where they don't, where they can fix some of the issues, like give you a more variety with the weapons, maybe a little bit less linear, maybe give you make the enemies have different heads instead of looking like you're killing like twins all the time or whatever. You know what I mean? Like those were basic problems that they could fix. But I liked it. Even the multiplayer I thought was solid.
Yeah, I know this is probably not going to happen, but I think Crytek would be a good acquisition, especially with the Crytek engine and all that kind of stuff and the assets they have.
It is a hell of an engine, actually.
Yeah, if Microsoft would do anything, I would hope they would just buy Crytek and then just have them make Rise games or whatever. But I think that's a better opportunity for them, honestly.
You know what the problem is that that's been one of my main complaints with some of Microsoft's business strategies is that they've turned down buying out so many studios for next to basically nothing.
Yeah, BioWare.
Yeah, I mean, look, literally, they've turned down buying studios for what essentially is next to nothing. And there would have been, guaranteed sales of games. Mm-hmm. And at this point now, you're looking back and you look at some of the history that they've had, and they don't really buy anything. They don't anymore. They just make another offshoot of a studio and name it something, or another offshoot of this, or just branded under Microsoft Studios, which is cool. But they don't do enough to draw people in with that.
Could you imagine if they picked up like Crytek and was like, building another Crysis game under the guise of, Phil and, what he likes to see in games and guiding that along? Like, how much better could Crysis be? Like, there's just so many opportunities there. I think,
Yeah.
I agree. Now, She-Wolf, are you a big fan of Rise? Would you like to see a sequel?
Yeah, like I like that era. So. But again, it comes to sequels can either make a great game great or it can hurt it. There's always that two-sided coin where you don't know exactly what's going to come of it. Yeah, yeah. You don't ever know. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see, but again, it's rumors, so it's hard for me to get excited for any games when everything is like always on the ropes. It's like, is it going to come? Is it not going to come? Like, heck, GKB finally got his friggin', there's going to be like another Splinter Cell, but we haven't heard nothing else about it.
Goddamn right.
Yeah, but it's looking more and more like these things are harder and harder to keep under wraps nowadays.
Yeah, people thinking
so I mean,
but what I'm getting at is not keeping things under wraps. It's more, we get these rumors, and then yes, okay, it's hard to keep them under wraps, but then at the same time,
it could be that Joe Montana football, bro.
And like, look at Fable Legends. We actually got to play that one, and we lost it. Like it's just things like that. It's just hard to really determine. Yes. I'll be the downer. It's fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, like for me, I just think that it will get some of these fanboys that shut up a little bit when they're all complaining about, a lot of this stuff. Like, oh, well, how come we don't get a sequel to this, but Sony gets a sequel to Knack?
Well, here's what's gonna happen, crap. Like, we'll get the sequel, and guess what? They won't buy it, or they'll play it, and they'll just fucking hate on it anyway. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn you, GKB.
I'm with you, bro. I want a sequel to Sunset. I want a sequel.
I want a sequel to Sunset.
I want those. I think those are fantastic franchises that could really be, pushing, gaming, further and further and further. But let's be honest, like that's what's really gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think a sequel to Rise would be awesome, but I mean, it's again, people will just complain about it if it comes out. So.
I mean, look at it. Look at a freaking show that showed like games like so far out, like a year or plus away. People just freak the fuck out. Like, oh man, Xbox is gonna burn and die. Like, really? Come on, man.
Yeah, The Last of Us just killed it.
Yeah, people are already.
Quantum Break came out, and people turn around and start saying that like Microsoft is no longer making Xbox and it's going to be closed down. Like, there's so many stupid shit about what people say about like when games come out. Like, I would actually like to see a sequel to Quantum Break. As much as like there were people hating on it, I would still like to actually see a sequel to that game. Sunset Overdrive, that one would be amazing to have a sequel out because of the fact it has so much detail into where the story could go. And if they make it into a co-op, I just think it would be even that much better. So
yeah, well, I remember still getting this thing to fill, this questionnaire from Microsoft to fill out about that, and they ask you what would you like to see in a sequel. Would you like to see a co-op campaign and like deathmatch multiplayer? And those are both things I want to see. Like, if they had those things, I think that it would appeal to a little bit wider audience and would be set up a little bit more for success.
Well, I mean, you also got to take a look too at this the general problem it is with like new IPs. People just don't like. There's a lot of people out there who are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy this day one, and they don't. And that's case in point is like Quantum Break and all these other games, Sunset Overdrive, whatever. And then you also have the problem with you have a lot of the average or more casual gamers who just don't give a fuck, basically, right? Like. I mean, I remember you brought that up to when Sunset Overdrive was free. I brought that up to like 5 or 6 different people, and so did you. And they're like, "Nah, I'm not gonna download it."
Yeah, they're like, "What's that? What's that shit?" You know what I mean? Like that sounds bad. What's that shit? You know what I mean? Like honestly, that's no lie. Like you try to talk people into just downloading these games for free, and they're like, "No, what's that shit?" You know what I mean? Seriously,
it's because people are so stuck on if it doesn't have a Call of Duty, GTA, or other big name title, Mass Effect, whatever, on the front of it, they don't want to play it. And that's just the problem with the gaming industry.
I stopped and thought about this, and we've said this exact thing that Hellhammer just said. I've heard that a million times in the past 2 years, but we've got to stop to understand that. And pardon me for using an analogy over and over, but do you understand why since 69, McDonald's still has the only thing that's still on the goddamn menu is a Big Mac, chicken nuggets, and the fucking fish fillet?
Oh, but actually that's wrong because they just made an even bigger Big Mac apparently, though it looks exactly like the regular Big Mac. But
and
there's apparently another one.
There is, but it won't be there in about a year. My point is that like it's people are like, why are people only going to COD? Why are people only going to Halo? Why do people only go to Uncharted? Like, that's what you go there for. Like there's always a guy behind you who's like, hi, yeah, I'll have the Mick Arch Deluxe with the Fribble. And you're like, what the fuck? Like everyone else is ordering a number 3. It's like, it's just the point with the gaming industry is people are not going to leave Madden, NBA, COD, GTA. They're not leaving those. And don't make fun of those people. They're the people that are actually putting the fucking gaming industry, keeping them afloat.
Oh no, it's not a matter of
no. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you, Hellhammer. No,
you're even saying that those games should just disappear or whatever.
But people are wondering.
Are so close-minded on buying games.
Yeah, but people are wondering why everything else outside of the main titles are niche. They're niche, and that's why everyone has that designated category that they love. Like, I mean, I don't know how to explain. Like, I love mafia movies, right? But there's a lot of people who are like, I don't. And that's fine. But guess what everybody loves? Charlie Brown fucking Christmas special, okay? So, like, that's just the reason people tune in every fucking holiday. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to see fucking Robert De Niro fucking light a fucking Christmas tree up with Al Pacino. It's my point being is, like, it is what it is. Like, this is the gaming industry. And the gaming industry is consisted of COD, GTA, Halo on its respective system, Uncharted on its respective system, and then everything else falls a very distant second, third, fourth, and fifth. So I don't know. When we sit here and talk about Sunset Overdrive, I don't know if you guys noticed I was quiet for a while. But Sunset Overdrive 2 and Rise 2, it's like talking about Bigfoot and fucking the 8th world wonder that hasn't happened yet.
The problem is though, right? Like you have all these respective games that to basically drive the industry, right? Like the Call of Duties, the Grand Theft Autos, Mass Effects, and all this stuff, right? But then you have games that's come out of nowhere. Like, I mean, like for instance, back on the 360 era when Skyrim came out. I mean, people were Elder Scrolls fans, but it wasn't nowhere near to what it was after that. Or Witcher 3, even though there's 2 others, nobody gave a fuck about 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And these games basically came out and were big hits because people gave them the chance to play them.
Allow me to reiterate something called timing. Timing in life is everything.
Oh, well,
and Witcher 3 came out during this generation when we had nothing at all to show the power that this generation could provide. And when people saw the depth of the story, the longevity of the game, the massive inventory, the nonstop amazing action and acting, people were like, holy fuck. To be honest with you, if Witcher 3 came out in the mix of this fall that we're living in right now, it would still be very popular. It could have even won Game of the Year this year, but it wouldn't have done as well as it did last year in the middle of nothing.
That's a great point because there was literally nothing. I remember it was like The Witcher and Batman, right?
Yeah.
It was like, like we were all like hard up for shit.
We had a lot of betas last year.
Yeah, it was the beta year.
Yeah, timing is everything in gaming. You know what I mean? And that's why you're seeing games released now February, March. Crap, you remember we were talking about this 2 years ago. People are like, we're not putting anything new out in the spring. That's a death trap. Now, now it's a hot zone.
The other problem, the problem with that too is that that's true enough to a point. But even when games release, say, in the middle of a dead zone or whatever the case may be, people are still less apt to go out and buy a lot of games with a different title on it. Look at Quantum Break.
Yeah. Well, Quantum Break had a couple things going against
the
it.
Media
First of all,
that too.
Yeah, the media.
Oh yeah, I mean, I agree.
A week before, Microsoft was so proud of the game, they gave it to reviewers 2 weeks early. And then you had the media just shit on it for 10 of the 14 days.
But that's a good point. I think that's why Bethesda and other companies are going to follow suit with that. You're only going to get it like 24 hours before the launch because of that particular situations. Like,
I bought a Bethesda shirt right after that. That was Bethesda saying "fuck you" to the gaming media.
I mean, that's what Microsoft honestly should do as well. Like
Marty Sleva and his fucking $18 thrift store fucking cardigan. Listen, who the hell needs these people telling you people how to play? Okay, but you don't need anybody to tell you how to play.
We also have another issue that, Microsoft kind of gave copies to the wrong people as well, like Boogie and all of them who we already know are higher priority on Sony's side. So obviously the chances of them actually liking the game or at least announcing that they like the game was slim to nothing.
If they were going to send copies to only people who give them good reviews, it would be the 5 of us on the panel. I mean, there's nobody in the media that likes Microsoft or will actually come out and say they like. Even Ryan McCaffrey, he did it this week. I'm the head of Xbox. I'm the head editor at IGN. How dare you people say I only like Xbox? What? Like, you can't have anybody say it in the media because they get stoned.
Yep.
So the problem, She-Wolf, is you're right. You're very correct. The problem is there's nobody to send it to. Giant Bomb hates Xbox. IGN hate. I shouldn't use the word hate. Let's use the word dislikes to the point they don't want to give any credit to. It's just easier to say hate.
Yeah.
They just dislike Xbox, and I don't know why. Again, I'd like to reiterate something I haven't said in a good 2 months. Maybe, just maybe, if there was an IGN San Antonio and an IGN Washington, D.C., maybe we get some different takes from the few people that only like cardigans, hipster hats, and Seattle coffee. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
And wearing those flip-flops with only covering your big toe.
Yeah. You notice everybody everybody from New York or from like the mid-country east is always like, fuck, I got to go to work. I need coffee. Somebody give me a coffee. Today's gonna suck. And then everybody on the West Coast is like, anybody see the sunshine today? You ever you guys are on Twitter with me. You guys know. And She-Wolf, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like everyone that we all follow on Twitter, like everybody from the West Coast is like sunshine. They got their flip-flops. The picture they tweet out every day is a sunny beach, their foot up in a flip-flop and a cup of like cafe latte or something like that. And everybody from New York is like, brr, it's cold. I want to kill somebody. So, I mean, you got to understand. I understand it's two ends of the world, but you got to understand that like we have a different opinion over here, people. We're just not like the people. Like, and there's a lot of Xbox employees that tweet out all day. You would think that they shit out $100 bills. Like, honey, I just shit $1,000 out. We can go buy that car. Like, everybody's so happy that works at Xbox and Sony, and everyone's just so giddy. And it's like, that's great. Yeah, everybody's so kumbaya. And I'm like, dude, that's just not real life. It's not real. Like, and we know it's not real because we're living it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't understand what the hell's going on over there, but it would be really cool if we could get review copies out to more of the mooches, more of the craps, more of some of even the Sony fans that are just 5,000 to 10,000 followers, because you know what? You get an honest fucking opinion.
Just handpick like the Titanfall 2 people did, right? Like they handpicked like very few actually got review copies for that.
It's the same ass hats every time, over and over again.
And real quick, I want to talk about one other thing, and that is Seamus Blackley actually tweeted out that he's working on a Xbox One Duke kind of controller, which I like that idea. I mean, what is your guys' thoughts?
Not me.
Really?
Yeah.
I like the idea. I
love Seamus, and I'll get a tattoo of him on my back if you want. But I love the guy. I idolize him. But to be honest with you, there's just I couldn't stand. I think I have it. It's right in front of me. It's right there. I have it right in front of me. Hey, that's fine. But anybody who doesn't fit Bigfoot's fucking hand requirements, nobody wants to use that fucking thing. Nobody.
I do.
Just because that
nobody
thing,
does.
just as
Nobody
big as
does.
the Sega Dreamcast is, it's literally the same size if you size them up, just about by about
Great.
like. Maybe
Let's talk about the Dreamcast sales.
Well,
That was a quick one.
no, listen. I like the Duke. Like even when the smaller controllers came out, I used the Duke. You can ask Hellheimer; it fits my hands perfectly.
Yeah, but I
that's
just
the
recently
goal.
found out that you and Bigfoot are going head-to-head max in the WWE.
It's
I
true.
tried to tell Mooch
You're
because I guess
massive,
Mooch
bro.
thought I was like a little dude. I was like, no, I'm a big ass fucking.
I thought
guy.
I thought Crap was like 5'6" or something. 5'5".
Oh, you're.
He's
you're
like, you got to
sadly
add.
mistaken.
He's like, you got to add a number to that. I'm like, what? He's like 6. He's like 6'5". I'm like, why aren't you playing for the fucking Ravens? Get off the internet.
Because Mooch was like, he was like, yeah, I'm Batman. I was like, I'm not Robin. I'm just putting that out there. I'm not Robin.
I told him after he said that, I was like, well, you could be Alfred.
Well, no, he can be Nightwing.
He's 6'5". You can't
I don't wanna
even
be
fit in the
Nightwing.
Batmobile.
I want to be Batman. I'm Batman. See, I am Batman.
You need a bat bus. You're 6'5".
in the prison.
They make tanks for SGKB. They make tanks for fucking small people.
That's pretty true, man. You gotta be pretty small dude to get in
Yeah,
there.
they don't let fucking 6'5" guys in the fucking tank. You can
I
go
know.
in, but you got to get the fuck out.
Half your body be sticking out the top of that shit.
Yeah, you'll be
guys.
you'll be the prime target.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pretty fun. I mean, GKB, are you interested in this controller? I think it's
Hell
cool
yeah,
that he's working on it. Personally, I think
Hell
it's
yeah,
pretty
man.
damn cool. So
I was like one of the.
It's cool.
Yeah, I was like one of the few like on the OG Xbox that I actually enjoyed the Duke. I liked the bigger controller.
But
and stuff
GKB
like
might answer me this though. My problem isn't the actual size of the controller. My issue is the fucking Tic Tacs for buttons, and they're all touching each other.
Well, I think we're going off the basis of it's going to be like exactly like the old Duke. I think it's going to be more of an updated version to go along with the Xbox One
because the Duke doesn't have triggered like two
Right.
bumpers.
Doesn't have the bumpers.
Right.
It's going to be an
So you
updated
have-
version, just in a homage to the Duke.
in a Duke
Did
style. I would
he
love
get the
that.
blessing from Microsoft, or is that just him going
I'm
forward?
guessing he did. I'm guessing. I would think that here's the thing. Even though he doesn't work there, I'm thinking he still has a little bit of sway. Because remember when he was like, yeah, we could use some some wheelchair avatars or whatever, and then look at how fast that came about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
You
Yeah,
got
I
a ton of
mean-
likes and retweets for that.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested in
Yeah.
it. I probably won't actually use it, but I'll probably buy one just to keep it as like a memorabilia type of thing or collection.
That's what I said too on the console corner. I was like, I'd get it, play it for a little bit, and then probably put it in like a shadow box and put it up on the wall or something.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
come on. I got an Elite controller. I'm probably not going to use it all the time. So I mean, yeah, come on.
Yeah.
So, but I just think that. What about you, Shiva? You probably wouldn't use that one, huh?
I don't think she played it.
No.
I don't think so.
I didn't use it when I was younger, and
Yeah.
I doubt I would use it now.
Yeah, because you were like 8 when the Xbox came out. So,
She's not that young. Take it easy.
well, 15 years ago, shit.
Yeah, 15
wasn't
years ago,
8.
I was. Didn't we have this talk?
Yeah,
Like when
she
it
was
first came
13
out-
or 14.
Let's see, 15 years ago.
She's not in her 30s. She's 29.
She's 30.
Jeez,
She's
no.
like 29 or 30.
I'm 29 or 30.
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't have your
so-
birthday on my fridge, but
I was 14.
I
Okay.
just said that.
I know, and I'm
Well,
just repeating
my
it.
bad.
Well, Crap made it sound like you just fucking got like your first fucking My Little
It just
Pony.
came out the womb.
Yeah, you're like, hey.
Let me get that Duke controller.
Yeah. So I mean, look, hey, hit that like button while you motherfuckers are at it, because that's what I'm talking about. Almost up to 350.
I don't think many people want to do crap. I mean, I understand
So
that
I heard
nostalgia
that
is
there's a
kicking
rumor
in.
that they're bringing out like a controller like more for female hands, which is kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
Old gamer I know named Mr. X could use something like that.
Oh.
But,
Dang, bro.
yeah, he had
Cold-blooded.
he had tiny hands. And in fact, we used to make fun of his tiny hands. I photo this was back in Dick Crapgamer days, right? So this was years ago. So you remember the Burger King ads with the guy with the tiny hands?
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
like
He
he's
could hold
holding
a
a
hamburger.
Whopper. Yeah. So I photoshopped this guy's face onto his body with the little hands. And it was funny. Like he was like got really upset. And then
he posted a picture of his hand next to like a computer mouse. It was like one of those little mini ones for like a laptop, like the little portable ones.
Yeah, so we made fun of him for that. Yeah, I was kind of an asshole, but that was back in the day, and now I'm even more of an asshole. That's right, people.
Oh yeah, because that Bottles is so mean and all that.
That's what she's talking about. I think it's time to about wrap it up. Mooch, what do you got going on? I know we got some good stuff planned.
Yeah, we do, buddy. We've got, well, of course, Crossfire is going to be great. We got a good cast coming on this upcoming Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then we have on my channel this week, because I messed up last week. This week we'll be on my channel. We'll have MNC Mornings where we have Halo Master Chief Collection we're giving away.
And some EA Access
and some EA Access
well,
codes.
Which, by the way, Star Wars Battlefront going in EA Access on the 13th.
Next week.
So, yeah, if you wanted to try it or whatever, just call in MC Space Mornings on Skype. Leave a voicemail. Do it before Friday so that you get included, because we had somebody like hounding us about not being included. But you got to leave it before Friday because Jay takes his sweet ass time, and it takes a while to like put all that stuff together.
It takes a while, and I mean not just that, but we've also got if crap is covered in mayonnaise tomorrow. Remember, that's going to be a large subject to talk about on Sunday morning.
It is. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff to talk about, and that's going to be a good time. GKB, what do you guys got going on?
All kinds of stuff, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be on the Shop Podcast on Saturday, bro. We got the Console Corner Game Awards going on. Dude, we have a shit ton of people that voted.
Yeah, vote Crapgamer.
It's crazy, man. Like, the support has been phenomenal.
I didn't give a
listen to this shit, bro.
Vote Mooch rants. Vote Mooch.
Yeah, we'll be on the
vote Crapgamer.
Doing videos. We're doing a lot of stuff for next year. We're gonna hit it hard next year. So
that's probably a good plan. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. And you guys did a good console corner last night. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, She-Wolf, what's going on? What we got? Game night. What's cooking there? Ladies' night. All that good stuff. What's going on?
Well, because of the amazing gift that we had got from Dark Optimus, we let him pick Community Game Night, and he picked Battlefield 1. So we're playing that on Saturday at
See you Sunday morning, everybody.
Why? You can always just join in the chat if you want to be that miserable about it.
Well, it's not miserable. Just who the fuck wants to get run over by a tank and shot by a crop duster?
I told Mooch he should have just borrowed the Battlefield 1 code that we got to give away, and when he's just been like, "What code?"
No,
you know what I mean?
dude,
no.
Or you can just go red box it for the night, just so you
still got 10 hours. You still probably got 8 hours left.
I actually do have 7 or 8 hours
then
left.
Suck it up, Buttercup, and just come play for a bit.
Hey, who killed me? See that sparkling diamond in the window across the field? That was GKB.
About 20 miles down the field.
20 miles down sight. That was JKB. Fucking like southwest of the fucking.
I'm gonna be kamikaze in the plane, bro.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
But
wait, She-Wolf, who said that game?
Dark Optimus.
Dead to me. No, I'm only kidding, Dark. I'm only kidding.
But yeah, so we have that. It's 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Everyone who has Xbox Live is welcome to join in. Chat will be open, obviously, and then got Ladies Night, which will be on Monday. And then Console Corner. And yeah, don't forget about the awards. Go vote for everyone and your game of the year and all your other games that are in the categories. There are lots of categories. So yeah, make sure you check that out. And obviously you can add me on Xbox Live and Twitter at XSheWolfX with a U, not an O in wolf. So
remember when you used to be Desert She-Wolf, but that was kind of a clunky
I like
name.
that name, Desert She-Wolf, but
She-Wolf is just much better.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just nice and simple. You know what I mean? Nice and simple. So, Hell Hammer, what's going on?
Not much. I'll be back on here next week. And then I'm on Twitter and Xbox Live, XXL Hammer.
Hell yeah. And then I want to thank everybody for joining us. We had a hell of a show. Damn near 500.
Yeah, that's awesome.
On a Wednesday. That's
a lot of people showed up.
Make sure you guys close out the night by hitting that like button and subscribe. Subscribe to Gamers Know Best as well. Yeah, Console Corner. What the hell am I thinking? And Mooch's channel. He's closed in on 5,000.
Yeah,
and you guys want to make sure you're there so you can check out M&C Mornings, the top 50 rated podcast on iTunes. Believe it or not, yeah, we're raking it in, man.
Hellhammer I was on last week, so just saying.
Yeah. Oh, we had discount. We had 2 discount mooches, and people weren't too like. Some people were happy. Some people were like, "No, that doesn't work. That's too far. You gotta lose those guys. It's moochie crap. That's it.
Calm down, people. It's okay.
Moochie crap." I'm like, you guys don't understand, man.
We were only there for like one day.
Mooch was gone.
I swear I will be there very much on time, if not very early this week.
Yeah, well, it's his channel, so I would hope so.
That's correct. Yeah. That's right. Jake, get started.
We'll catch you guys all next week. Happy late birthday to Matty Beast. We'll catch you guys all later. Thanks for watching. Rag 'em up.